Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, I'm feeling a little shift in the Earth's axis. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So glad to have you on this Wednesday. I've noticed a real shift here. People are actively rooting against the Kansas City Chiefs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to come onto the Bills bandwagon, of which I am I'm not even a card-carrying member of the bandwagon. I feel like I invented the bandwagon in national media as far as being one of the Bills' diehards, Perloff. But enough about me. You can say, all right, I want to see someone different in the Super Bowl, but I'm seeing more than that. I'm seeing this avalanche of just anti-Chiefs. And I don't really get it because I think Patrick Mahomes there's more respect for Mahomes, I think, than almost any other quarterback because of his talent and his ability to win. Andy Reid is not a polarizing guy. This is not Belichick. He's not cheating. He's not being jerked to the media.
Stealing a couple nuggies, but that's about it.
I mean, who could blame them? They're delicious. But I just don't understand the hatred towards the Chiefs. I guess I get wanting to see another team in the Super Bowl, but why the hate?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, come on. That's such a cop-out. She doesn't play for the team.
It's not just Taylor Swift, but it's mostly Taylor Swift. Now, because nobody likes the winner, right? You have to root against a champion.
Well, that's not always true. I think we like the winner on the way up.
Yeah.
We just don't like them staying too long, but then we'll criticize them if they don't complete a dynasty or whatever. There's no winning here for the Chiefs.
But if you add a Taylor Swift to a winner, it becomes obnoxious. I think if you add the world's biggest pop star is dating one of the stars of the team, but not just the world's biggest pop star, she's a singular figure. She's like the modern day Beatles in a sense.
Sure. Okay.
So I think you add that, and I do think there are actually some people who have backlash against Taylor Swift who think she's overrated because is she worth all this hype?
Yeah, sure.
So I think it all becomes a stew of that whole project over there. That's too much. It's too much Taylor Swift, Jason Kelsey, and all the cutaways and Caitlin Clark, and
he doesn't play for them.
It's all too much. Yeah, but the only reason that is all becoming a thing is because they're so good. So it's combined. None of that would happen if they weren't a two-time champion. I'm just saying the whole thing is you just root against the champion. I don't know what it is, and it just became more obnoxious when they added Taylor Swift.
Okay, I get the whole stew of it all. Although I think that's pretty lame about hating a team because some guy's dating some woman. And by the way, she's not even I can understand being mad about her, not to just get off on a Swift thing. If she was a Nepo baby or it feels like she was handed everything, by all accounts, she's a hard worker who it deserves her fame. Whether you think that's too much, that's for your discretion, but it's not like she's mailing it in. She's doing 4-hour shows. She's on tours across the world. She seems like a pretty hard worker, but that's aside.
When you make a certain amount of $1 billion, you're automatically hateable, but please go ahead.
Sure, but we all love the NFL owners. Okay, but here's the thing.
Nobody on earth loves the NFL owners.
Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos
get out of here.
and
Nobody
all those
likes
billionaires.
Any of those.
Okay,
anyway.
Watch, they're going to cut the power if I keep talking about those guys. I got to be careful. But anyway, this is what I don't understand. We've had famous people date athletes in the past.
Yeah.
Were people hating Aaron Rodgers because he was dating Danica Patrick or Olivia Munn?
Well, no,
they weren't.
They didn't get, because when he was dating them, he didn't get to the Super Bowl. So that's why they weren't bothered by it.
So this is just, do you understand? This just sounds like the ultimate hater. Haterade is what you guys are drinking. Because if you hate the Chiefs because Travis Kelce has a famous girlfriend, you're just jealous of Travis Kelce. It's like he's getting too much in your opinion. He's too good. You can't have the Super Bowl and get the girl.
No.
Haters.
It's because the NFL is trying to exploit this situation. It's not even Travis Kelce. Nobody hates Travis Kelce, I don't think. They hate that the NFL is trying to exploit this. Everyone, I think, feels marketed to and kind of icky that Taylor Swift starts dating Travis Kelce, and then the NFL, during a huge primetime game, just happens to air a teaser for her concert film.
They're trying. Free publicity.
There's actually a room of marketers sitting let's take advantage of this, and it worked. And they get all these new female fans, and it's that is obnoxious. I think people feel like they're being marketed to.
Okay, and that's fine. It's inauthentic, but we think that they're actually in a real relationship, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so that's the NFL's fault. They came in and ruined it. A bunch of people in suits came in and ruined it. We're football fans. What do we care about that? And it feels weird for me as a Bills fan to be stumping now for the Chiefs. I just don't understand the backlash this much to the Chiefs because I think everyone likes watching Mahomes. It's not like he's out there like Tom Brady throwing, 10-yard passes, matriculating down the field, and it's just not being that fun and interesting. Mahomes is the ultimate interesting, cool, fun player to watch. Now, getting calls.
Not 2024 Mahomes. You're talking about old Mahomes.
Well, I'm talking about him. He's still scrambling around. He's still doing shovel passes, left-handed passes, no-look passes.
He's not doing any of that anymore. Have you watched the Chiefs? Do you understand what's coming on Sunday?
Just wait.
You're getting a bunch of 4-yard passes at best.
Okay.
But yes.
He gets a Lifetime Achievement Award for being interesting.
Mahomes' personality is incredibly likable. Like, why would you not like? He sounds like Kermit the Frog, and he seems like a very nice person.
Yeah, right. Okay. You don't like his wife. You don't like his brother.
You might not like his wife. You definitely there's real reasons not to like him. But he's likable, right?
Let's dive into everyone's family. Hey, come on. That has nothing to do with Mahomes. Yeah. The other part too is the calls. Right. And there were some egregious ones that happened on Saturday against the Texans.
Okay, let's get into this.
And the Texans were upset. The Texans were upset. And they had a right to be on a couple calls. That's not why they lost the game, though. It kept drives alive. Do the Chiefs get a little home cooking? It feels like they do. Yet if you go to the numbers, and I know we hate when we bring numbers into a debate like this, but the Chiefs penalties that get called against them in the fourth quarters and overtimes of playoff games is actually almost exactly the same as the penalties that get called for them. Wow. It's like 47 penalties for them, 46 penalties against them. The numbers bear this out. Now, obviously, we all know this watching football a long time. Not all penalties are created equal. Penalties at certain times, on third downs, keeping drives alive, on punts that back you up into the 5-yard line, half the distance to the goal, stuff like that. All penalties are not created equal. It does feel like they are getting some home cooking calls, but I hate to break to everybody. So does every home team.
Well, so does every team that the NFL wants to get into the AFC title game. Like
Josh Allen. That's what you're talking about.
Like we all have eyes. We saw what the NFL did on Sunday with Josh Allen when the wide receivers were pushing out and actually, he could have gone to prison for second-degree assault on that defense, and he drew a defensive pass interference. No, But
Michael Jordan got calls.
I was to say,
stars get
those
calls.
Numbers, if the Chiefs, it was 46-47, the Chiefs must have committed 96 fouls if that was only 46 flags. Because
you might be right about that.
No, that is a really interesting stat. You're right. There's some perception going on here.
No, you just nailed it. You glossed it, but this is it. You said whoever the NFL wants to be in the Super Bowl. Right, the script. You got to be careful with that. People really think that's true, Pearl. You joke about it. I know you're joking about it, but there are people who think our whole lives are one simulation and someone is kind of like pulling the strings on it. That is a dangerous rabbit hole in sports and in life. This is the last thing we have left in some ways we have no idea what the outcome is going to be. Right? So let's not kill it. Let's not conspiracy theory it away.
But you're just calling it conspiracy theory. I think there's serious human bias in officials. Officials by nature are very flawed and imperfect, and they have these biases. And I think that some of them might be towards certain teams. I don't know why, but that's like a real thing. Like officiating stinks right now, and everyone's trying to wonder why. I'm not saying it's some nefarious purpose. They might just see Mahomes and give him this star treatment that screws up the game.
Okay, but that's personal bias for the refs. When you say the NFL wants certain teams, it's almost like you're implying that Roger Goodell is sitting in the middle of a volcano, surrounded by specter, and they're all deciding who's going to make the Super Bowl. Because I hate to break it to you guys. If they were all doing this, I don't think they wanted Detroit to lose. I don't think they wanted one of the best stories to lose. And
no, you're right. I went too far with that.
This is silly. And I think people really believe it, though. Like everything is preordained because of what happened with the Chiefs last year. They looked like a very beatable Chiefs team, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning it. Well, you know what? Blame the 49ers because they were there, too. And nobody made Kyle Shanahan decide to kick a field goal in overtime as opposed to going for it on fourth down because maybe he didn't know the rules. That's it. That's sports. This is the good stuff. And so why we're hating on the Chiefs so much, I don't think they deserve it. I don't think it's warranted because Mahomes is amazing. I'll say this as a Bills fan. I got a whole Bills corner behind me. I got Jim Kelly stuff, Fred Jackson. I'm deep cuts here.
Wearing Bills blue.
Of course I am. But the thing is, I got to give respect to Mahomes because he deserves it. He earned it. And Kelsey dating Taylor Swift, come on, guys. What are we doing?
Are you seriously, that doesn't bother you? It bothers everybody else. I mean, everybody else. The cutaways of Taylor Swift, unless you're a Swiftie, you got to groan. If you don't groan, there's something wrong with you. And by the way, it's not just Taylor Swift. Like, everybody hates the celebrity. Like, you say, like, do you think, I know Aaron Rodgers and Olivia Munn but that wasn't so public. Like, everybody, I'm thinking like, remember Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson? That was a national punchline for 10 years.
What about Giselle? Like, come on.
Oh, yeah, people love Giselle. Get out of here. Nobody liked Giselle. Even Tom didn't like Giselle.
They were married for 20 years. I don't know. News at 11. Famous athlete dates famous woman. Like, that is not a story to me anymore.
Don't. No, some people don't want it in their face.
Okay, but
I mean, you're arguing for your point of view. You're not. You can't tell people who to hate and who not to hate.
That's fine. You want to hate whoever you want to hate, but
it's not like
your hate of
hate.
Taylor Swift, sports hate. We're not talking about real stuff. But you're somehow misguided sports hate for Taylor Swift. Patrick Mahomes should get wrapped up in that. Imagine if you got judged by who your friend is dating. Oh my God, my friends have dated some big time losers. I would hate it if you guys even knew any of these dudes. Like, I would disassociate myself with them and with we couldn't be friends. You can't judge me on what someone else's life choice is.
Yeah, I finally figured this out.
Okay.
This is, you live, breathe, and eat the Buffalo Bills. There's two quarterbacks who get calls in the NFL. And all the numbers back that up. It's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So the Bills everyone knows the Chiefs. The Bills are the Chiefs light. The NFL loves them. You know, the whole DeMar Hamlin story. They love a narrative. They try to present them in prime time. I just feel like Josh Allen gets all kind of calls. It's a bit of style of play. Like, the guys run down the sideline and they know they can go out of bounds, but they know they can get a flag and they're not afraid to get hit for some reason because Josh Allen's gigantic.
Yeah.
So they draw the most personal fouls. They did this year. Mahomes was 1, Josh Allen was 2. So I think Bills fans don't complain about calls because they get all the calls too. I mean, you saw that Ravens game. I know there was one bad hold call, but generally I think there's a perception out there that the Bills get a lot of calls.
Okay, well, I'm seeing the bandwagon for the Bills just get flooded. I think people are rooting for the Bills, and you can tell me at 855-212-4227. Am I misreading the room here? Because I feel like America is rooting for the Bills. EJ's raising his hand. You're not rooting for the Bills. You can't. You root for a division rival.
No, we're all Bills fans.
Get out of here.
We're all Bills fans.
Wait, hold on one second. We got to stop the show. EJ, you're not allowed. I'm sorry.
Why?
You root for loser teams. We can't have this kind of energy.
Oh,
you don't. I can't have your Jets energy infiltrating this Bills energy. They're in the AFC Championship game. You'll get your time. You'll be back. Aaron Glenn, Aaron Rodgers, knock yourselves out. I'm sorry, EJ, you're not allowed.
So it's not out of principle. This is a functional, like, you don't want him mushing your team.
First of all,
what the heck does EJ have to do with it?
We root for one of the same teams. We both are Mets fans, and we know how that's worked out. It was fun going to the NLCS, but we know how that's worked out. You and I did not remember the 86 title, so it's been a long, long time. I can't have any of your Jet stuff around me right now. This is too important.
America, this is the heel turn for Maggie Gray.
I'm sorry, dude. We have to keep the double pane glass in between us now for the next couple weeks.
Do you guys understand the irony of a Bills fan saying, I can't have more loser energy around us? I mean, it's the Bills.
I get it.
Mean? But you need anybody that can help you.
We're trying to change that. Not we, they're trying to change that. And I'm sorry, EJ, just like, I can't. Manny, I can take. He's a Yankee fan. Yeah. He's seen winning. I mean, you're still not allowed on the bandwagon, Manny.
I went to school in Buffalo.
That also gives you a little bit of a Buffalo
I love Buffalo
card.
wings. It's my favorite food. That should count.
You and everyone.
Spend many a nights on Elmwood Avenue.
Manny's in. EJ, I'm sorry.
EJ,
I love you, but you can't be around this one.
Don't worry, EJ. I got you. Have you ever heard of a man named King Gilly? Because I'm going to introduce you to Eagles Fan Nation, and we are going to have a party.
Gilly, he's a great podcaster, rapper. Yeah, yes, I'm very aware.
Yes, the Eagles bandwagon is wide open. Wide open.
You wonder
Tons
why.
of seats. Huh. Tons of seats.
Is it because the fan base is insufferable?
Is there barbed wire around the chairs and bandwagon?
Yes, they're coming in like motioning to you and patting the seat next to you like some weird creepo on a bus.
By holding baseball bats.
Our fan base, there's a bit of a fight to initiate you, like a gang. I mean, that's going to happen. I'm not going to lie. You're going to throw down, throw some fists here. But yeah, no,
that's how you show
Bills,
love.
Maggie's saying the Bills bandwagon's getting too full. She's rejecting people.
Yeah, you're out.
Come on in. Come on in, America.
Nobody wants to be on the Eagles bandwagon.
No, it sure seems that way. I mean, even I'm like tempted. I'm like, ooh, Jaden Daniels, that's spicy. Even I'm like,
I'm looking over the other side.
I'm like, whoa, that guy is really poised for a rookie. You know how
these numbers?
You know how I am, Maggie. Like, I like a shiny object. And
Perloff goes, I really think we should lead the show with next year's top 25 in college football.
Oh, wow, Jaden Daniels. Look at that. Yeah, and you were like, I don't know. I'm like, well, Arch, you're like, you raise an eyebrow.
You pulled me back in with Art.
Yeah.
You're always about what's next, though. You're right. About, you're
AJ
all about
DeBestanza and I'm saying that wrong. And Arch Manning.
I'm sorry. I got to get old. Manny, he's been sitting here crying about the Giants for since he's been here.
Yeah.
And you're willing to accept all the Giants baggage.
2 Super Bowls over the last 20 years, pal, or whatever. I'm not going to match, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm saying, though, the energy he has
the other
right
two
now
don't count because Manny wasn't alive.
is low vibrations on the left side here, okay? Yeah. I've told people I am not engaged with the Jets until Aaron Rodgers retires. So the Jets stuff has nothing to do with me.
I know. I can't. I can't right now. This is too important.
I got 2 more Super Bowls.
I'll tell you one thing. Manny is going to flip over to the Knicks game in the third quarter, Maggie. You can't have Manny.
That is also correct.
Manny is not a good Bills fan. I can't believe I'm with EJ. You're letting him on the bandwagon?
Hey, the Bills make me want.
Well, let me ask you a question.
I don't know. You're right. This is feeling a little flimsy.
Because I know next week, if the Eagles lose to the Commanders and the Bills win, you're not going to let me on the bandwagon because you're going to think I have loser energy too because I just lost the NFC title game.
The Commanders.
Yeah, no, you can't get on. I can't have you in here either, Pearl. And
What
your
about
teams have actually won recently-ish.
So you got to set the rules for callers if they want on the Bills bandwagon. Like, are they like you love them as the chat? Are they allowed on the Bills bandwagon? Like, what? It seems kind of arbitrary.
Yeah, it seems like there's too many rules to this, Maggie.
You know what? I think I should probably have to write down some official rules on if you want to be on the Bills bandwagon. If you do, I know one right off the bat. You must have spent more than 1 month of your life living in sub-zero temperatures. I'm in. There's where Manny gets a leg up. Although that would also apply to EJ too, because he's lived in really cold places.
Yeah.
But I can't have the southern, like, that the fair weather crowd, the Floridas. It's just not in your blood, you know? There's part of being a Bills fan that's in your blood.
Anybody
blood.
Anybody can jump through a table, Maggie.
But do they?
That's fair.
All right, I'll do my rules for jumping on the Bills bandwagon. Yeah, because this all started with the Chiefs, and this is how we got the conversation going, is the backlash warranted? If all you're coming with me is Taylor Swift, then that's not a real fact. If you want to say that you think Mahomes gets calls, but to your point, Josh Allen does get calls. If you want to say that they're annoying just because of how much they won, well, don't we celebrate excellence?
Yeah, but I also think the Chiefs... Are the Chiefs hated? That's another question. Like, I think they're pretty popular. I mean, I think they're probably the most popular team in the NFL right now.
I think they're turning, though. I feel like there's a lot of Chiefs hate because I'm just noticing people saying, I'm rooting for the Bills this week. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
why? You, of all people?
I did see that. That ESPN number caught my eye, that the Chiefs-Texans got 32 million people. I think that's a Taylor Swift effect. Like, that's way too big a number for such a garbage game. I mean, it was a terrible game. It's the Texans play every 1 o'clock. Like, normally they get 8 million for that game. There's something the Chiefs are like the new Cowboys in a sense, which does mean, is that hated or popular or like what's the answer?
Well, the thing about the Cowboys is that they have a broad fan base. I think the fan base is mostly in Kansas City.
But I think a lot of 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds are coming up with Mahomes jerseys and Josh Allen jerseys too. But I think there is a generation, like the older generations grew up Steelers fans because they were winning Super Bowls when they were that formative age. I think the Chiefs are going to have a generation of fans. We should put up a poll. I'm curious, do you hate the Chiefs as one of the polls? I don't know that everybody hates the Chiefs.
I'm feeling it because I can sense the people coming. It's like the give me your poor, your tired, huddled masses, whatever's written on the Statue of Liberty. I feel like those people are coming over to Buffalo seeking refuge.
But I do think the Chiefs do have a couple. They're a small market. They're not like the New York Yankees. I'm not sure that they're an easy team to hate. I think you have to work yourself up on that one.
855-212-4227. Meanwhile, also Josh Allen dating a very famous person. You just don't see her.
Yeah, Hallie Stanfield and Taylor Swift are same.
I'm just saying, she's nominated for an Oscar when she was like 12. I mean, she's been around for a while.
It's Hawkeye.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, she could walk in right now, and I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure I know what she looks like.
855-212-4227. Are the Chiefs hated, and should I let EJ come onto the Bills bandwagon? I don't know. 855-212-4227. We also have a lot to do, including we have more college football to unpack, national title game. Congratulations, Ohio State. And we also have a lot of coaching news to get to as well. It's MMP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie Gray, lifelong Bills fan, is so confident, or not confident, but is just, I don't know, somehow feels with a team that's never won a Super Bowl, she's rejecting people from her bandwagon. She's like, we don't need you. Like, if the Eagles play the Chiefs next week, 90% of America will be rooting for the Chiefs. Like, you hate them now. You don't know what it's like to be on an island in a team and a city that everybody hates sports-wise. Yeah. Like, you're like, nah, I don't need you on my Buffalo bandwagon. That's ridiculous. Why do you say, come on aboard? It's great. It's fun here.
No. If you were somebody who thought the, Bills were going to take this giant step back this year because they cycled out some of the team. Oh, yeah. They lost Stephon. You're really going to hold that against them? No.
I think you even thought they're like, well, I don't know. We don't have any weapons this year.
A little worried about Aaron Rodgers. But anyway, I've come up with a couple rules for joining the Bills bandwagon if you'd like to join it. Because, no, we are going to be a little selective. Doormat of the league for 20 years. People like to make jokes. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, doormat. Then, yeah, now when, we're here on the cusp of the Super Bowl.
The Bills have never been the doormat. The Jets have been a doormat. I don't remember. The Bills have been just average. Like, right?
No.
How many number one picks have the Bills?
Average.
I don't remember going to the draft and seeing the Bills that much.
It was always pick 6 and pick 4 and pick 8 and the ones that really keep you bad because you never really get the top pick.
This is a league where the Raiders, there's like 4 teams that cycle through the top 5 picks of the draft every year for 30 years. That's not the Bills, but okay.
I can show you some bad seasons. But anyway, no, I'm going to be very selective here on who gets let into the bandwagon. I have a few rules, but first let's go to Marvin, who's in Fort Worth, Texas. Marvin, are you rooting for the Bills or the Chiefs this weekend?
I'm rooting for the Bills this weekend. How y'all doing?
We're great. What's up?
So I don't really think that your criteria is fair because I'm not in sub-zero temperatures, but I suffered with the Bills 4 years in a row in Super Bowl losses.
You were a Bills fan back to the 90s then?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Well, then I'm not talking about you, Marvin. You're in. You're on the bus,
Marvin,
man.
you're in Texas. Why weren't you rooting for the Cowboys?
Well, the Cowboys, okay, so when they played in the Super Bowl, I couldn't cheer for anybody. I grew up at home with my family, with my parents as a Cowboys fan, no choice.
Oh,
But when I got older and, got into football, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Steve Tasker, James Lofton, Andre, that was my team. Hey, you couldn't tell me nothing about the Bills, and I suffered. We suffered.
Marvin, you made a horrible decision.
Please make us a part of y'all criteria.
No, Marvin, you are not part of this. If you were a Bills fan back in the 90s, you're grandfathered in. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking to the actual Bills fans. You're good.
All right, I'm Bills Mafia.
Love it, Marvin. Thank you for the support. I can feel it all the way from Fort Worth.
So once again, you want to take a guy who had a choice between the 90s Cowboys and the 90s Bills and chose the 90s Bills, and that's the kind of football logic you want on?
Well, here's the thing. I like Marvin was rooting for the Bills in the 90s. I get family pressure probably to root for the Cowboys. But when your team's playing in the Super Bowl, that's when you got to root for the Bills. Could have used you back then, Marvin. Anyway, Marvin, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the EJs of the world who now just want to jump on the Bills bandwagon because they don't want to see the Chiefs again. They're sick of the Chiefs. That's where I'm noticing a lot of this Johnny-come-lately bandwagon is coming from.
I'm sorry to pause this, but why do you hate the Chiefs so much? Like, they're not like.
How much time do you have?
I have no idea. Like, what are you talking about the Yankees? And I'm like getting confused here. You're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, yeah, maybe I don't really like all this, but like, it's not the evil empire with A-Rod. What are you doing?
I hate the tomahawk chop. I hate Brittany Mahomes and how pretentious she is. I hate that the refs give them game-changing flags. Yes, it's equal, quote-unquote, but they've changed big games. I hate that they win all the time. I hate that it feels like they get luck. Tyler Bass missing a chip shot, 13 seconds. Kyle Shanahan doesn't know overtime. I hate that they have a bunch of bandwagon fans. I hate that they embrace Kadarius Toney, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt. Do you want more?
What do you mean you hate? So, but doesn't your team embrace all those people too? Doesn't every NFL team? Okay, so some of those are. And also,
Tyreek
most
Hill and Kareem Hunt are a little extreme.
What's that?
Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt are a little extreme.
That's why the Chiefs are the Super Bowl. The Jets are home every year.
Yeah, I mean,
right, but you just ask me
rooting
why
for some
I
of these
hate
guys
them.
is really tough. But to be fair, EJ, for every Tyreek Hill who's got unsavory things in his background, for sure, you do have a Patrick Mahomes. You know, you do. It seems like Kelsey, you might not like him because he's so overexposed, but he doesn't seem like he's a bad dude.
It doesn't mean
Chris Jones seems like a fine guy.
No, they're superstars, but I don't
You
like.
should hate the Eagles.
I don't like Travis Kelce keeps co-opting something that's New York, best of the Beastie Boys. You gotta fight for your right. Shut up, Kelce. That's not Kansas City. That's Brooklyn, bro.
You jabroni!
Co-opting wrestling, like this.
Well, there's a lot of people you
Perloff
hate.
going to just the fact that it's only Taylor Swift is ridiculous to me because
so
it's way more than that.
It's been brewing for a long time. Like how long are we talking since like the first Super Bowl?
No, probably after the second one.
Okay,
I thought
so like
for a second I
3
thought you were
years.
talking about Len Dawson. I was like, wait, what?
I don't know. The way you describe it, it's like
I'm
lifelong
a
hatred for the
guy.
Chiefs. This is like a 14-month experiment here. I feel like it sounds like.
No,
this
Tyreek Hill was on the team for
No,
7
I
years.
just asked if it was the first Super Bowl team. He said it was really after the second Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah, all right. Those are all good reasons.
Okay, so I've come up with a couple rules for the Bills bandwagon. You know, let's get to Bogusch first. I'll give you some of the rules on the other side because I've noticed it's getting a little full. And EJ's application to Bills Mafia is being tabled.
I want to appeal.
Haven't made a decision yet.
Oh, you've been waitlisted.
Oh man, that's what happened to me when I tried to get into UConn.
It's bringing back bad memories.
Yeah, that's why. Now I still hate UConn now because of it.
Speaking of UConn.
Your headlines, guys, are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Who the bleep is Manny Rodriguez? As we feared yesterday, the Jets forgot to lock all the doors, so potential new head coach Aaron Glenn and potential new GM Lance Newmark left the building yesterday without being hired. Glenn apparently flew back to Detroit. Talks do continue, and the Jets have reportedly told other candidates they're no longer under consideration for these jobs. But the Saints are lurking, hoping to meet with Glenn again.
Man, I'd love to know the TikTok of this. They were there all day.
All day.
Did something get caught up in like some language in the contract?
Brick.
Like, what did Brick have to say about it? Woody Johnson's son. They were there for like 8 hours.
Yeah. And I don't like the fact, and what do I know, that Aaron Glenn left town altogether. It's one thing to like go back to the hotel, have a staring contest.
Fresh eyes, see this in the morning.
You know, have agents talk about things, but he left town.
On their private jet, I'm assuming.
I'm guessing.
So who do you guys think was hesitant, the team or the Aaron Glenn?
I think it's got to be Glenn. Because I don't know who else the team was really looking towards besides Vrabel, and then he took the Patriots job. And now I don't know who their third choice would be.
I don't even know if they do. As far as we know, they weren't bringing anybody else in for another chat. Like this was supposed to be done yesterday.
They interviewed 18 people. You don't have a third?
It's Jets.
I know. It's unbelievable.
You might still get there.
I still think he will be the Jets head coach.
Yes.
But the idea that the Jets clearly put out there that we're not going to let him leave the building. And then I see Adam Schefter tweet 7:30. Aaron Glenn has left the building like he's Elvis. I'm like, this is my life. This is the sorry team that I root for.
To be fair, this happened with Sean Payton and the Broncos.
It happened to Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh apparently left the building also, and then he came back.
I wouldn't use that example.
No, I'm saying he should have kept going, but it's,
Oh,
They should have locked the doors after he left.
Yeah.
Saleh might get a job right now.
he's really close in this Jaguars thing, apparently.
I bet he's really close to the Cowboys, too. Everyone
Yeah, and
said.
Cowboys.
That's so funny. And by the way, I was like, who, the Jets? Who does Aaron Rodgers like? Bring back Saleh or bring back McCarthy? Mike McCarthy would be perfect.
They
for
didn't
the
even
Jets.
talk to Mike McCarthy.
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and him got really ugly at the end. So whether they say it or not, so to bring him back would be really funny. I mean, by the way, I don't think they should hire Aaron Glenn anyway. Why would that team bring a defensive coach? What on earth is happening in that building? It's probably the dumbest coaching hire in 50 years.
They just need a good head coach. It doesn't matter defense, offense. I don't like the whole they got to hire offensive guy. It doesn't matter.
Look at the playoffs. What do you see? Offensive guys everywhere you look, except for Sean McDermott.
Dan Campbell is Dan Quinn's a defensive coach. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's really Cliff running the show.
Generally, it was Cliff
coaching.
Kingsbury who got those 4 interceptions the Commanders got against the Lions.
The Commanders.
Cliff's really setting the culture there.
I mean, but actually, like offensive coordinators have gotten way far. Like I've seen metrics on it.
By the way, it's 2-2 because McDermott's the defensive coach as well.
half
So
the guys-
the 4 teams left prove nothing.
and by the way, what does Sirianni even do?
And by
He's
the
kind of
way-
middle.
Yeah, what is he?
He's an offensive coach.
Okay, are we sure?
Yeah, I mean, play called. It wasn't.
And then they took it
good.
away from him, and then they went to
Wasn't
the Super
good.
Bowl.
There's only one guy calling plays as a head coach, and that's Andy Reid that's left. Everyone else does not call offensive plays. Two of the guys are defensive coaches.
But most of the Super Bowls lately, except for Belichick, have been a lot of play callers. McVay, Shanahan, Reed.
Perloff, we're the Jets. We're talking about Super Bowl. We just want to go to the playoffs. Respectability.
The Jets have had a good defense since
500.
I've been young. The Jets have always had a good defense, and they never get their offense fixed. So they're bringing in Aaron Glenn. What on earth has happened? Like,
You better pray Aaron Rodgers comes back, but that's a whole other thing.
have you ever? When's the last time they had a good offense? 1 year with Ken O'Brien in 1983. What are you talking about here? Sorry.
The Vikings locked up their head coach, Kevin O'Connell, yesterday with a multi-year extension. I don't think we know the financial details yet. GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah expects to get his own new deal now in the near future. The Patriots expected to reunite again with Josh McDaniels. He'll be Mike Vrabel's offensive coordinator. And then there are Sunday's conference title games. Bills corner Christian Benford is in concussion protocols. Safety Taylor Rapp is day-to-day with a hip injury from the Ravens game. Now, when the Knicks win, that's when Manny and EJ wear their Knicks gear. Pearl's in a Sixers hat this morning after this last night.
Cross court over to Porter. Entry pass into Jokic. Jokic back over to Gordon. Three-pointer. Money! 20-point lead for Denver. Timeout, Nick Nurse.
Jason Kosmiski on Nuggets Radio. Denver would win by 35 points, 144-109. The Philly losing streak is now 7.
Actually, the reason I wear the Sixers hat is I'm wearing a green sweatshirt, and I wanted to make it clear that this was Eagles green, but I didn't want to wear an Eagles hat.
Too matchy-matchy.
I didn't want to. I wanted to remain objective. If I wore an Eagles hat today, that would be over the top. So I just put a little something Philly here to make sure that because Maggie's wearing, by the way, as Bills a shirt of it as I've ever seen.
But it doesn't have the team logo on it. It just happens to be blue.
Oh, it just happens to be. Like we've noticed the color change.
You've asked me this like since we started working together. You're like, I see you're wearing the Sacramento Kings purple over there. I'm like, no, it's just purple. There's really nothing.
It really does fit exactly with the Bills. I mean, it's literally the same exact shade of blue as your Fred Jackson jersey.
But do you guys realize, like, I wouldn't have to mess around here. If I want to wear Bill stuff, I got a closet full of it. I could just wear it.
No, but you're not. But you're a national radio host. You can't wear a Bills jersey on your show. You have to pretend you're a journalist. So you're
Why?
shut
You
on
wear Eagles stuff constantly. You're literally wearing a Sixers hat.
No, I don't wear Eagles stuff for that reason. You never see Eagles. I try and remain objective.
Also, like it's almost like the politician, right? Like it's St. Patrick's Day. They wear a green tie, right? Or,
subtle.
Oh, we're going to the Knicks game. All right, the mayor may wear orange tie. Like they're not gonna go and wearing a Spike Lee Knicks jersey and hat and glasses. Like, and keep it somewhat professional. That's what you do.
Thank you. Yeah,
I think he was talking to me.
Oh
no, I was saying no. I'm agreeing with Perloff. I'm saying like that's what you do. Like you're trying to deny this. We know what's going on.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. Like you don't want to like a social media clip out there where you're analyzing the Commanders Giants game and you're wearing you're dressed like an Eagles assistant coach.
Sorry. Can I just point out something that happened in the national championship game? Kirk Herbstreit was crying.
Yeah.
After Ohio State won, crying, and I didn't see that no one called him unprofessional, did they?
Oh,
he's not losing his job, that's for sure.
Open Twitter. It was a avalanche of unprofessional. Like people killed Kirk.
Okay, but
for multiple reasons. One, because he turned on the school and actually left town because he was so anti-Buckeye, and now he's crying. Like the Ohio State fans didn't like it, and everyone else is like, "Bro, be professional."
Well, I don't know. I thought it was more people said. I don't think anyone called into question how he called the game.
No, it was
not
after
through
the game.
Did he seem more pro Ohio State or more anti Notre Dame? I didn't pick up on anything.
No, but it's been a murder scene afterwards. People are killing him.
Definitely. My brother literally called me yesterday, being like, "Hey, we have to talk about this Kirk Herbstreit thing."
Wait, doesn't his son play for the team?
Yeah.
His other son went to Michigan.
Right. So you're making both points. It's like they went to the biggest rival, one son, and the other one plays on the team, so they're not showing favorites.
Nobody hates Herbie more than some Ohio State fans. They really got upset.
I thought he left
him.
town because he was getting like abused by the fans.
Yeah,
no?
right. Because he wasn't pro Ohio State enough.
He also said that Ryan Day is a personal friend while he was doing his crying rant.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, so that's why you were like, hey, idiots! Anybody who says Ryan Day should be fired, you're a lunatic."
The lunatic fringe, he called him.
He's like, by the way, he's a dear friend. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but that is very typical. I mean, Tony Romo and Josh Allen, everybody knows. Like Tony Romo loves Josh Allen more than his kids.
But you can't call people a lunatic fringe for having a sports opinion on your friend and then say, "Well, he's my friend," and it informs why you suggested people were being a lunatic.
Right, and
fringe.
you didn't say it at the time.
Right,
Wow.
You're saying it now. I guess
exactly. We didn't know that he was friends with Ryan Day.
Well, of course we
you
did.
could guess, but here's the thing.
I didn't know that.
Here's the thing about it too is, listen, the one party said I'm friends with Ryan Day, so I know what he's been through behind the scenes. And that's why I said yesterday, I'm like, was his life in danger? Was his safety in danger? Because to be honest, being a college football coach, living in a college football town is taking on the hate is part of it.
Yeah.
You lose to Michigan, but that's why I wondered, I'm like, can you expand on that? Because if you have this behind the curtain, can you pull it back so that people on the outside can really see what was Ryan Day? Were people leaving like flaming bags of dog poo on his lawn? What's going on?
Maybe he doesn't want to actually put those details out to him because it would encourage other people to act like that. Maybe there's some of that.
But like a couple hate tweets, I can't. Yeah. That's a college coach. You sign up for it.
But wait, you can't have a problem with Herbie being friends with Ryan Day. I mean,
no,
this is a world where Chris Collinsworth gets to call Mahomes' games. I mean, like we all know about over the top announcer level.
Here's a guy. You're talking about guys and saying, I don't think that Chris Collinsworth and Patrick Mahomes are having dinner.
But it's a natural joke that, like, yeah, because Collinsworth gets too aroused watching Patrick Mahomes play. Like that is like you guys follow this. Like everyone knows
by the way,
about.
Another
like,
reason to hate the Chiefs, by the way.
What's that?
Another reason to hate the Chiefs, by the way.
Right, Collinsworth calling Mahomes is like Mahomes throws like a 3-yard out and it goes for 5 yards to Collinsworth. Well, that is just the greatest play I've ever seen. Like I feel great. It's Collinsworth's fatal flaw is that he loves Patrick Mahomes too much.
People don't like that. That's
they don't like. No, it's actually funny. Even Collinsworth, I think, is starting to acknowledge it. But
is he leaning into the bit?
And
here's a guy.
Anyway,
this guy.
But I don't even know how we got on this. But Herbie is an unusual cat because college football fandom is so intense, and he went to Ohio State. I'm not killing him for crying, but a lot of people were mad about that, Maggie.
You know,
it was surprising.
I will say though, to respect him and what he's gone through, his dog with the death of Bo. I mean, as a dog owner, any dog like that, he's been broken up about that for a while. I think that actually also surprised him to do it. I think his wife's dealing with a health issue too. So there's a lot going on there. I think
and his
it was
son
beyond.
Plays on the team.
Yeah, it was beyond. I think it was beyond just Ohio State. The thing I did not like was this idea that he was presenting as an objective observer, saying you're a lunatic for saying that Ryan Day should be fired, and then not disclosing. By the way, he's my friend.
Yeah, right.
Like you could say that. My thing is, I don't mind you being friends with him. It would make sense. But to present that with no context, and then weeks later after you win, say also he's my friend.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
Did his kids go to Clemson too? Am I imagining that?
That was Rex Ryan's kids, I think, or one of the Ryan kids, right?
It was interesting. You don't generally see someone crying.
Yeah, he had
on a national broadcast.
He had 2 kids. Kirk had 2 kids who went to Clemson.
How many little Herb Streets are there?
Yeah,
I know. Speaking of being aroused.
And that's all the time we have on our careers. It's been fun. Kidding.
The Bills better not win the title, or Maggie's gonna be in here bawling.
I mean, Maggie,
I've never cried over sports.
I don't want to.
And I've had a reason to, and I've never cried.
The Bills make me wanna.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but we're like 2 Mondays or 3 Mondays away from.
Yeah.
You better be crying.
No, you'll get my tears if they lose, but I've literally never cried. That my metaphorical tears, but I've never actually cried over sports.
I cried when the Eagles won. I thought about my relationship with my dad. I could start crying right now if you guys want to talk about it.
But that's crying over a win, like you did.
Yeah, that's the only time I've only cried over a win. I don't think I've cried over a loss.
Last year, I cried when the Knicks beat the Jazz in Utah before the All-Star game. It was incredible.
You couldn't have known the magic.
Speaking of aroused.
You guys think I am joking.
What'd your mom think of that?
I was in my room alone, like an actual loser.
With the door shut and
right.
locked. Okay, lots more to do. I'm working on my rules. If you want to join the Bills bandwagon, well, it's going to be a rigorous set of obstacles that you're going to have to go through, and we're going to have a checklist here.
Ooh.
tick off. You gotta have some things in your past if you want to jump on the bandwagon now. Also, speaking of college football, which college coach needs to win a title the most? Ryan Day, off the hot seat. What do you think? Who's next up? We'll get to that. MVP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Okay, I got a working list here of the rules that you need to follow if indeed you want to join the Bills bandwagon for this AFC Championship game. 855-212-4227. Just noticed a little backlash to the Chiefs. And by little, I mean an avalanche of people criticizing the Kansas City Chiefs for getting calls, maybe a little Chiefs fatigue. You mentioned the Taylor Swift effect. Kind of working against them this time around. Maybe there was a fascination with it last year. At this time, I think people are just sort of over it. Mm-hmm. And it just feels to me like a lot of people are rooting for the Buffalo Bills in this game. A lot of casual people. A lot of the bandwagon is I'm looking behind me, and I'm seeing just hordes of people coming on the Bills bandwagon, Pearl.
Yeah, although I do think the Chiefs get eyeballs. There might be some people who dislike the Chiefs but would want to hate watch the Chiefs in the Super Bowl if they say they're neutral towards the Bills. I mean, like, honestly, let me ask you a question. I do get a sense that the Bills are a little more popular than the Ravens. Like, there is the darling thing, like, they haven't won yet, the underdog.
Lovable
the
loser.
Chicago Cubs kind of vibe. Is that why they're on the Bills bandwagon? What's the biggest factor? Is it all part of the stew?
I think it's all part of it because of all the 4 teams left, this would be the team that could claim it. You know, it's been a long time since Washington has been good, but they do have 3 Super Bowls. They won 3 Super Bowls, 3 different quarterbacks. I mean, Joe Gibbs is a legend. Like they have, and Jaden Daniels is a rookie. So if you're a college fan, you know him well because of the Heisman, but he hasn't really become a massive NFL star yet.
But this would be I do think the Commanders would be one of the bigger underdogs in NFL history to win the Super Bowl.
Totally.
They'd be like the.
Oh, right. But I don't think they don't have a lovable loser. It's like they had a bad owner and they finally got out from that.
Yeah. But I do think the Commanders can also be your underdog. If you want to root for an underdog.
Yeah.
Because the Bills are not really an underdog. They've been a consistently excellent team. So they're not the same kind of underdog like out of nowhere that Washington is.
Sure. All right, should we do a couple?
Yeah.
A couple. I'm going to spread these out now because we don't have a lot of time here, but I want to make sure I get one in that's very, very important. If you want to be a member of Bills Mafia for this week, if you are jumping on the Bills bandwagon, the number one criteria that you must fill, you must have lived in a place that is cold weather for one winter. You must have survived one. It doesn't have to be in Buffalo. Anywhere in your life, you must have lived in a cold place from October to May. That's a non-negotiable. If you have only lived in Miami, Florida, or you've only lived in Tucson or something like that, I'm sorry, I love you, but you cannot be part of Bills Mafia. You must have spent at least one winter. Could have been college, could have been post-college, could have moved there for a girl and moved back, but you must have been in a cold weather place that's cold and dark and gray from October to May for 1 year of your life. One stretch of your life.
You're knocking out like 65% of the country.
Well, I told you this was going to be a high bar people were going to have to clear. You must have lived in a cold, dark place.
Well, who are all those people going to root for?
Well, that's not my problem. I'm talking about if you want to be part of this bandwagon, you have to have experienced the darkness.
What does that have to do with the Bills?
I'm just telling you, EJ, this is if you want to be part of Bills Mafia.
You ever spent a winter in Buffalo? It's cold and dark there, brother.
And it doesn't, I'll take Mid-Atlantic. It could have been D.C. area. We'll take it. I don't know about Northern California.
D.C. is the hottest place I've ever spent time in my entire life.
It's a swamp. It's terrible. Yeah. But in the winter, it will get cold. October to May, you must have been in a cold weather place. That's the first rule of Bills Mafia. If you want to join a bandwagon. I don't think that one's unreasonable.
The Bills make me wanna.
Got a couple more. We'll sprinkle them out throughout the show. One of them is going to be very controversial, and of course, it has to do with food. We'll save that one for the next hour.
So far, I'm in Maggie. This first thing,
I realize
I make this criteria.
Yeah, you do. EJ wants to join the Bills bandwagon because he does not like the Chiefs.
Bro, you got to start looking at that Commanders bandwagon. It's got to look juicy. If you're not allowed on the Bills bandwagon, I'm dying to root for Jaden Daniels.
The Commanders.
The guy is amazing.
You realize you are talking up Jaden Daniels. You deserve to lose to Jaden Daniels.
I've loved Jaden Daniels.
No, he is
Since
awesome.
the day he walked
That is
into
true.
last year at LSU. Oh, my God, he's so good.
Okay, we've got more rules if you want to jump on the Bills bandwagon for this game. You're welcome to weigh in on the Chiefs backlash as well. And did the Dallas Cowboys circle in on a new hire?
Wow, Jaden Daniels. Look at that.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Get back to Bills Chiefs in just a moment, but meanwhile, interesting turn in the Dallas Cowboys head coaching search. Well, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pearl, the new betting favorite to become the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys is Brian Schottenheimer.
Yep.
Who's been the offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons, but has not been calling plays. Mike McCarthy has been calling plays. So the internal candidate is now the odds-on favorite. My, we have come a long way from Deion Sanders being the supposed favorite for this job. Deion Sanders and Brian Schottenheimer, not exactly the same resume for those two guys.
Yeah, it just seems like Jerry Jones is once again doing what Jerry Jones does of picking somebody that first and foremost he's comfortable with, second, will not steal any of the spotlight from him. It's going to be the Jerry show. And if it was Brian Schottenheimer, that is the key reason, just so Jerry can keep running the team exactly how he wants to.
I mean, this would be, I think, devastating for Cowboys fans. And I'm not trying to be dramatic here. I think you would be devastated. If you're going to have Brian Schottenheimer, why don't you just keep Mike McCarthy? I mean,
Good question.
Does Schottenheimer really have these other ideas that's somehow going to make Dak Prescott, better, or CeeDee Lamb more wide open? He's been on the staff. I thought the reason why you got rid of McCarthy is because you were not pleased with how the team played in the playoffs. Well, this guy's on the staff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the argument would be that he's better suited to be a head coach. Like he could be an effective leader. It does seem like it's part of a bigger group project to get Jason Witten the job at some point.
Oh, so he just be keeping the seat warm.
Or, yeah, like it doesn't seem like it's just Brian Schottenheimer, here's the job. Feels like, or something else is coming with it. Like if Brian Schottenheimer becomes a head coach, I have 2 key questions. Who's the offensive coordinator and who's the defensive coordinator? I'm not totally convinced that Robert Saleh is not going to end up with this job either. Somebody like that. Somebody who nobody else is really super hot on.
Okay, but at least Robert Saleh's from outside the building. Aren't you trying to get some fresh ideas?
Oh, I see. So the internal part bothers you, not the fact that it's just Brian Schottenheimer.
Well, I think, listen, Brian Schottenheimer's been an assistant coach since 1997. His dad is a legendary head coach, and Marty Schottenheimer, may he rest in peace. He's never been a head coach. So now, all of a sudden, now he's going to be the head coach? He's been an assistant since 1997. It's the year 2025. If someone wanted to hire Brian Schottenheimer as a head coach, he would check all the boxes. Dad, legendary coach. Like, why is he not Kyle Shanahan? If, same type of thing.
I think you could make a really good argument that he'd be better as a head coach than a offensive coordinator play caller because he wasn't very good as an offensive coordinator play caller. As long as, like, if you hire him as a head coach and get a good play caller, you might be, maybe he's like one of those personalities like Matt Rule was, where he's just a leader of men, an organizer, just like some of the CEO qualities. Maybe Jerry sees a leader in him, even if he's not like the king of X's and O's. He's not Kyle Shanahan.
Well, but here's my thing. Again, Brian Schottenheimer is a lifer in this business.
Yeah.
You don't think someone else would identify these leadership qualities when he was coaching for the Jets or he was coaching for the Seattle Seahawks or now with Dallas? The guy's basically worked all over the league and nobody else ever thought to hire him. Let's hear from, that's a red flag to me. Let's hear from Ian Rappaport. Says Brian Schottenheimer, again, the internal candidate, just the 4th Cowboys interview in this cycle.
Where they are right now is they are interviewing Brian Schottenheimer. I don't get the sense that anything is done or imminent, famous last words, but that is where it stands right now. But obviously, they've only interviewed 4 candidates now, including him. That goes to show you how real it is. Now, there's some other things they're waiting on. Could they be waiting for Kellen Moore to be finished with the playoffs? For sure they could. But to me, at the very least, this feels real.
Okay, there's more from Rappaport about why the interest in Schottenheimer has skyrocketed, Perloff, to the point where he is now the betting favorite to take the job.
For the Cowboys, I know we talked about this, Tom. There is definitely a thought that for Jerry Jones, he didn't maybe want to pay top dollar for a head coach. this probably wouldn't be that. It's at least something the Cowboys are exploring, and we'll see what direction it goes.
Man, can you imagine being a Cowboy fan? You've got one of the highest valuations of your team, right? You're one of the most valuable franchises in all of North American sports and by extension, the world. Like you're up there with the Yankees and compete with Manchester United. And
you're number one on the Forbes list.
And you're cheaping out on a head coach.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You know who can imagine that? Dallas Cowboys fans. They're 100% used to this. They know exactly. They know this coaching cycle like the back of their hand. Do you think they're surprised by any of this?
I think that it's something that when we talk about criticisms of Jerry Jones, you're talking about he doesn't want to share the spotlight with people, and that's why he hires lesser. If he's cheaping out on head coaches, that should be the number one thing that goes against him in any conversation about Jerry Jones, being cheap. Because we would talk about that with every other owner in sports. There's no way he should get a pass for this.
Did you watch last offseason? I think we talked about it pretty much every day. I'm all in, and then he went all out.
But football's a salary cap sport, so there's only a certain amount of money you can spend.
But generally, though, his whole he's conservative as all get out when it comes to anything financial.
See, to me, where the cheapness really comes in, if you're talking about a head coach and maybe by extension the coordinators or whatever, is because this doesn't count on your cap. Like this is just you deciding, do you want to pony up? That's it. And if he's not going to be competitive,
I think it's ego too. I think it's his ego. I don't think it's just the money. I think it's tied in the spotlight. He didn't want to even talk to Ben Johnson, who'd be the most expensive coach, because he doesn't want to bring in this guy who's going to get $15 million a year and command the respect that comes with $15 million a year. And if you give the head coach all that money, then he runs that building. So I don't think it's just being cheap. I think it's what the money says.
855-212-4227. All right, so the short list here, you got Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, is Dion even around anymore? This thing went away. I haven't heard one thing about Deion Sanders over the last week being a part of this, being potentially part of the coaching staff. The report came out that Dion met with the athletic director for Colorado to ask for more NIL money and more money for his assistant coaches and was basically told no. And then we got nothing.
Do you believe that?
We also, we have Brian Schottenheimer. We've got Deion Sanders.
Kellen Moore, which is basically like an internal hire. Is it not? Yeah, kind of.
I mean, he was offensive coordinator, and then I think Mike McCarthy was like, I got to get him out of here because I got to call plays. If he's not calling plays, what do you do around here? He wants to call plays. He goes to the Chargers. They have a terrible season. Then he gets hired by your Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility they're waiting to see how these 2 games play out.
Does anyone think Kellen Moore is going to be a good head coach?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to just look for the negative, but where's the evidence?
Kellen Moore gets to the Super Bowl, odds are that he'll be a head coach at some point because, Shane Steichen got a head coaching job. And Cliff Kingsbury, too. If he wins this game, he's got a job.
Yeah. Well, maybe Cliff Kingsbury. I always thought that would be an interesting one for the Cowboys. I'm surprised.
He's high up in odds. He's third. It goes Schotty, Kellen Moore, then Kingsbury. And then I think Joe Brady.
Who hasn't even had an interview.
If Buffalo beats Kansas City, then Joe Brady would theoretically be in the mix. If it was a normal team, you would want the guys who are coaching the teams that get to the Super Bowl. That's how it works. And by the way, but also then there's the Saleh thing, because I can picture Robert Saleh walking into a room and charming the socks off of Jerry Jones. Can't you? Don't you see him man, I like this guy. I like the cut of his jib.
That's how we're making decisions?
Yes, it's Jerry Jones, of
jib?
course. Oh my God. You'd be lucky if that was what they were making decisions on.
And honestly, I'll take cut of the jib over. He was the cheapest option. What are we doing here? That's so Mickey Mouse.
They kicked Bill Parcells out of the building to get a triumvirate of Chan Gailey, Wade Phillips, and Dave Campo.
Okay,
of course.
But here's the thing. Parcells is an all-timer. He's an all-time legendary coach. Yeah. He does wear out his welcome places, though, because if he really was that easy to get along with, he would have never left the Giants.
Then why did they ever hire another Parcells? Why did they go after Bill Belichick this year? Because obviously that's not their MO.
Yeah, the Cowboys being cheap to me is the biggest offense. That's it. There's no excuse for it. Your tickets aren't getting any cheaper. Your parking, I'm assuming they own the parking lots. They're not getting any cheaper. Beer's not getting any cheaper. Jerseys aren't getting any cheaper. That might be collectively bargained. You know what I'm saying? It's all expensive. And people love to tell me, oh, Jerry, he only wants to win. That is not true. He wants to win his way, maybe, but that hasn't proven to be successful at all, considering every other team in the NFC has been to the NFC Championship game since you were last there in 1995. And if you cheap out on a head coach, what do you think's going to happen? It's like putting bad gas in a Ferrari, you know?
Yeah, I don't. Again, I don't think it's the money. I think it's the ego. I mean, like if you had a fantasy football team and you were like bringing in a junior partner who is brilliant, then everyone's going to credit him for winning the title. Jerry does not want that. He had it with Jimmy. He does not. Never wants that again.
855-212-4227. Brian Schottenheimer, Cowboys fans. What would your reaction be to that?
I think they're pretty numb at this point. I would imagine like
you can't hurt them anymore.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, they haven't been to an NFC title game since 1995. I don't think Schottenheimer is the straw that broke the camel's back. They're broken, Maggie.
Well, I mean, that's a shame.
By the way, Schottenheimer's just whatever. Like, I don't even. Does it make a difference whether they hire Robert Saleh or Brian Schottenheimer? Like, it's all like in that bucket of right? Like, this doesn't. It's not going to impact. If they're not hiring Belichick, then what are we doing here? Kellen Moore, like you said, like nobody's going to have any faith in any of these guys. They all seem like a version of the same guy.
Well, that's why Deion Sanders was so interesting.
Yes,
at least.
he was. It was a reset, and they're not going to do that.
855-212-4227. Been going through some of the rules that I'm creating for anyone who wants to jump on the Bills bandwagon this weekend. I consider myself. I don't know if I'm the president, but I'm definitely in the executive branch of national Bills fans. And I have rules now.
Are there 3 branches of Bills fans?
Yeah, it's just like our government. You know?
Is there like a court
the judicial,
that now that table didn't fully break, you're going to have to jump again, son.
And the legislative, yeah. It's just like we learned in civics class. So as, someone with this status, perch, if you will, I think it's only right to put together some rules. And really where this comes from is people just being really sick of the Chiefs. It's not because anyone really loves Buffalo. Let's get that for sure straightened out. Because it's not like these guys are new on the scene. Josh Allen's been around since 2018, and the team's won 5 straight division titles. So they've been around. My first rule to jumping on the Bills bandwagon, if you'd like to, is you must have spent at least one winter in a cold weather place. And I'm talking about the whole thing, October to May. It doesn't have to be Buffalo, but you have to have experienced the cold if you want to be in Bills Mafia. Are you ready for my second rule?
Oh, yeah. We're doing another rule. Let's go.
Another rule for you guys. The second rule, if you want to be a part of Bills Mafia, another team that you root for, whoever else is in your arsenal of teams that you're a fan of, must have experienced some heartbreak at some point. You have to have something bad in your history. Maybe if the shorthand is good, like the fumble, the catch, you got to have something where you on the losing end of something that's named, because I think that the Bills unofficially lead the league in bad plays that have nicknames.
Wow, okay. So the name makes it hard. Like everyone's got a bad play in their sports history, but an actual name, right now you're narrowing it down a bit. I mean, there are a lot of them, but that does knock some people out.
I mean, I'm willing to take it to a committee, even if your particularly bad thing doesn't have a name necessarily, but we all know it.
We give a lot of names out. We think about it. Yeah, give an example of a
so
name.
like if you were a Saints fan and you are on the wrong end of the Minneapolis Miracle, right? Or you're on the wrong end of the bad PI call. Like you could apply now, but again, you're gonna have had to spend a winter in the cold.
It was snowing in New Orleans yesterday.
I saw that. Snow on Bourbon Street.
So they count
skating
now.
My mom asked me yesterday if that's normal, if there's for snow to fall in Texas and Louisiana. No, Ma, it's not.
I'm fascinated by your family, Manny.
As am I.
So that's rule number 2.
Okay.
Any other team you root for, you must have experienced some type of heartbreak, or else you're just not really going to understand what this whole thing's about.
Does 20 years of Nick's ineptitude count? Or the Miracle at the Meadowlands Part 2?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'm in again.
A little closer.
That's
the butt fumble, so I'm still in.
I mean, you could also do Michael Jordan's double nickel. Like, you have a few for the Knicks. That's fine.
I was thinking when somebody did Van Gundy bite Mourning's leg?
He just hung on to it.
Hanging on to him for dear life.
Did somebody bite
Not
him?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson.
It was Danny Ainge and Tree Rollins was the bite, but it was similar.
No, I don't think Van Gundy ever bit anybody, although he looks like a vampire sometimes because he's just so tired looking. Anyway.
Yeah. No, Manny, I think you definitely qualify. But I don't even I'm not applying for a fan base. I'm already out on this one. But my team's alive, so I obviously can't apply anyway.
Well,
Your team can't be alive.
You.
Yeah.
And you're not anti-Chiefs.
No.
Right. This is for the people who are sick of the Chiefs, who I noticed are coming over to the Bills.
Chiefs are Eagles 2.0. Why would I be sick of them? I think they're half the same people who were in Philly's building are over in Kansas City.
855-212-4227. I have more rules. We'll continue on throughout the morning if you want to join the bandwagon. Let's go to Kevin, who's in San Antonio. What's up, Kev?
Hey, not much. I've been under the weather and so forth, and I got my tooth pulled. So, I've been chilling, listening to your show. The thing about the Dallas Cowboys, this has been a broken record after Jimmy Johnson has been fired.
Yeah.
This has been a broken record all day long. I don't care. He hired the best coach. He gonna fire him, just like Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells has the backbone to go ahead and just say, "Hey, I'm in control," and then all of a sudden he fired him. He just said he got tired of it.
Kevin, I understand, and, thank you so much for calling in. Glad that you're feeling better, and to be fair, our show probably a little better when you're on painkillers. I could see that. Just everything becomes a little bit funnier. But here's the thing. This is why the Parcells thing is I get it. Cowboys fans are mad about it. But the Giants said goodbye to Parcells. The Cowboys said goodbye to Parcells. The New England Patriots said goodbye to Parcells. The Miami Dolphins said goodbye to Parcells. At some point, he's a legend. I'm not saying it's right, but he's a little maybe Jim Harbaugh-esque where it's like he can wear out the welcome sometimes, and it can be a little intense where at some point you have to move on, or he feels like he has to move on. So, for letting Parcells walk out the door, that was going to be inevitable. He wasn't going to be your coach for 25 years.
How long was Parcells in New York? A long time.
He was in New York for a long time, but he went other places.
Yeah, I mean, you got the sense
8 years in New York, 4 years in Dallas, 4 years in New England, 3 years with the Jets.
You just get the sense that all 4 years were torture for Jerry Jones. Forget Parcells. He fired Jimmy Johnson for no reason in the height of a Super Bowl run. That's never been. Name another situation where a team is doing nothing but winning Super Bowls and they fired the coach.
I'm not excusing Jerry's behavior.
No, it's consistent. It never changes. He will always be about Jerry.
855-212-4227. If they hire Brian Schottenheimer, and this is not even about Brian, I'd say this about any internal candidate on the offensive side when you just got rid of Mike McCarthy. That would be one of the low moments for the Dallas Cowboys. Seriously. You have Perloff's Eagles and the Commanders are fighting for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And you're going to do an internal hire and really just mail this thing in? That is a dark day. Even I get what you're talking about, Perloff. It might be inevitable, but that is just pathetic. It feels lazy, too, which is not something I would generally ascribe to the Cowboys. I don't think they're lazy.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, but that's definitely it's not really the thing with the Cowboys. It's not hard work. It's they work hard to make sure that they're doing it exactly like they're doing it. I don't know.
Then don't tell me they want to win.
Well, they do want to win, but they want to win their way. They want to win.
And it's been gangbusters so far.
I think the 3-12-5 seasons gave the Joneses a little confidence, and maybe that was a dangerous thing. They're like, ooh, we made some good draft picks here. We know what we're doing, and ooh boy.
Oh, boy. 855-212-4227. All right, question for you. You're welcome to weigh in on the Cowboys, of course. You can listen to our show in a variety of ways. The Infinity Sports Network of affiliates who we love and we appreciate you so much. The free-to-download Odyssey app, which is crystal clear. Take it with you wherever you go. You can listen to us on Sirius XM, guys. New channel, 375. Babe Ruth, John Elway, Reggie Bush at USC. That's what we landed on for 375. That's okay. I'm sorry. You wanted what?
Allen Iverson, Donovan McNabb, Ron Jaworski.
Yes, because every sports fan just has those three numbers right at the top of the dome.
Isn't that 357?
Yes, but I think in this game you have to go in order.
Yes.
Well,
375, Pro. Let's not
375.
confuse people.
Okay. Yeah. I hear you. In my head, I'm like the 3, the 5. Okay, whatever. There's a 3, there's a 7, and there's a 5.
I think Babe Ruth, we all know, John Elway, everyone knows it, Reggie Bush, you can think of him, think about it, him in that Trojan uniform, running for touchdowns. Wear number 5. 375.
With money in his back pocket.
Well, don't hate the player.
Okay.
There's
Oh
about
my
dollar
God.
bills hanging out of the back of his pocket.
Talking about a dinosaur take. Oh, Reggie Bush took money. Oh, my God.
You can also watch the show, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and on X.
He wasn't an amateur.
855-212-4227. Okay, coming up next, now that Ryan Day has won a national title, who is the next college football head coach that is feeling the heat? Can't say hot seat necessarily, but who's feeling the pressure the most to win a national title? I think Ryan Day gets a reprieve for a week and a half from the Ohio fan base.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, listen, Urban Meyer walks on water. He only won one.
Exactly.
Feels like he won more there because he won in Florida too.
855-212-4227. We'll answer that question next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Maggie is setting rules for joining the Bills bandwagon in front of Sunday's game. You're not going to need any rules. You're not going to be able to keep people off the bandwagon if they face my Eagles in the Super Bowl. I think that's an easy choice for a neutral fan.
Yeah, there's nobody who's clamoring to get on the Eagles bandwagon.
No, I mean, I think Saquon is popular. I mean, I would like Saquon, but that green is tough for people to handle.
Go Birds!
No, I don't have to worry about that. But yes, you can't just waltz over to the Bills bandwagon simply because you don't like the Chiefs. There's a couple stipulations, a couple rules. We already went over 2 of them. One is you must have lived in a cold weather place for at least one winter, October to May. And the other is any other team you root for must have experienced some type of heartbreak, preferably something that has a nickname. If you want to understand what it's like to really be Bills Mafia, we will get into which college football head coach needs a national title now the most after Ryan Day checked that off his list. Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines.
Is there a rule about having an 11-year-old son with Josh Allen and DeMar Hamlin jerseys and a Stephon Diggs jersey?
Yeah, you can't come.
How does that?
Can't play.
Do I get in through that? How does that work?
Because you purchased the jerseys?
I don't think I bought all 3 of them, but at least one of them.
I mean, if you actually spend money on the jerseys, you're allowed in. I mean, you have the clothes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
So Jake and I are in, or I can come in through Jake?
No, Jake has not read that there's an age limit. If you're under the age of 17, then you're automatically in because we can indoctrinate you now and we can have you for life. So you're still young and impressionable enough.
Not a cult.
No. This is just how we talk and operate.
Mm-hmm.
He can waltz right in. You still have to check some of the boxes because you're not wearing any Buffalo stuff. Your kid's wearing it.
Well,
I was going to say if you bought all of it.
Yeah.
I meant in your private time. You already told us you have jersey rules. You will not wear a jersey with another man's name on it who's currently playing.
That is correct.
Like every man.
I did not know this rule.
Because you don't listen when I talk.
I think I wasn't here that day.
That's also possible.
Yeah. You will not wear an active jersey?
No, I'm too old for that.
Same.
What?
Yeah.
You don't wear a guy who's currently playing his jersey as a grown man.
So if you were an Eagles fan, you wouldn't wear a Hurts jersey or a Brown jersey or a Barkley jersey to the game?
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
So
I didn't get this either. But EJ and Bogusch were very staunchly in this category. I'm like, I see grown men all the time wearing Josh Allen jerseys. These are the best thing that's happened to the franchise in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I love it. It's a great point.
EJ, you're not rocking a Jalen Brunson jersey or a Carl Anthony Towns jersey?
No.
That's
our good friend Boomer Esiason got us a Precious Achua jersey that he gifted to me, and I'm figuring out what to do with it. It's probably going to get displayed kind of like Maggie's Fred Jackson jersey. I'm not putting it on. That's never happened.
You could get a Precious Achua jersey?
Well, Boomer has got connections.
Custom ordered.
Yeah. I didn't even know they made jerseys for the end of the bench guys. But okay, go ahead.
I meant to ask you because I was there that day when this jersey fell from the skies. That looks almost game used. Like it's a legit jersey.
I'm scared to ask Boomer Esiason if that's an authentic game worn jersey. I keep
just accept it, no questions.
It's definitely authentic. It's not the entry level jersey.
Wait, how did he give this to you? What happened? I don't know the story.
That was fun.
Me and Manny had a Knicks trivia off
to
determine. This was after the show 2 weeks ago. And
on the Fan?
No, this was right outside of our studio.
In the newsroom.
In the newsroom, yeah. and we went back and forth. It was
It's on Sirius 376, that channel.
I don't know. Confuse people. We're on 375.
It was on Infinity the Ocho.
Yeah.
No, me and Manny had a trivia off, and it was a tough battle. Manny gave me a real run
tie.
for the money, and it was a tie. Right, you're right. Actually, I forgot about it. It was a tie.
So you guys were asking each other trivia questions?
No, Boomer was asking us trivia questions, and then it ended up in a coin flip, and I won because tails never fails.
Wow. How do we not know about this?
Wait, and you guys, it was a tie, but you guys got everyone right?
Yeah, Boomer said name the 1970s starting five, and they went boom, 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 boom.
Wow, that's great.
That's also an all-time team.
I mean, yeah, but there's some landmines.
Do like the 78 team.
But that was not
different.
a good team.
Bob
McAdoo, I think, was on that team.
Rory Sparrow, Bernard King.
Bernard not there yet. No, it was that. So he's like, all right, I won because again, tails never fail. So now I have a probably authentic, maybe game worn Precious Achua jersey.
And he just had it laying around and he handed it to you, or he got it? Oh, wow.
Because I think he probably has the same rule. He's not wearing a Precious Achua jersey. He's a grown man.
Yeah.
I don't think Boomer's wearing jerseys.
It was sent to them. I don't remember the full details of their bit, but it was sent to them because of a thing that they did on the air.
Oh, got it. Actually, Boomer might wear a hockey sweater.
I was
he
gonna
would.
say,
I'm wrong about that.
I've seen him in Rangers sweaters like that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's wearing a Mika Zibanejad jersey.
What?
Definitely not.
I don't think he's
what the
wearing
heck is that?
Exactly.
As
a current Ranger.
I was hoping it was a supermodel. I didn't know what words. I've never heard of. What was either name? Say that name again.
You know what's exciting? In 2 days from now, he's going to have a real deep thought out take on the Rangers after being stumped by Mika Zibanejad 48 hours prior.
This is going to be a new Boogie Flan.
Yep.
It's great.
By the way, poor Boogie.
No, broke his hand.
Bummer.
Did he really? I did not see that.
Yeah, come on, Manny.
Oh, John Will.
Now he's out for the season.
Done.
I know Big Dave somewhere. He's not happy about the Boogie Flan injury, but he was so rooting for John Calipari's demise in the first year at Arkansas, and he hasn't won an SEC game yet.
I didn't realize the civil war that was happening between Big Blue Nation and people who support Calipari.
Oh, it's rough.
It is. I went to a Twitter rabbit hole yesterday. It is crazy.
No, they are reveling.
I think Jay Williams is going to fight somebody tomorrow. I'm not joking. Like a radio host. It's serious. I was like, wow, you guys really hate Cal.
That escalated quickly. Bogusch has headlines.
So this is exactly the type of sentence I was expecting to write when I was studying broadcasting at Fordham. 4 Chilean nationals have been arrested in connection to the burglary of Joe Burrow's home. The men are facing multiple charges. The police report doesn't mention Burrow by name, but says LSU and Bengals items were found in one of their cars. The men told police they've been in Ohio to see snow.
Chi, chi, chi. Le, le, le. Chi, chi, chi. Le, le, le.
I was wondering about this. I'm like, okay, so it's a targeted attack, they thought, on Burrow, right? Because he's an athlete. And then you're going to keep his LSU gear around the car?
I know.
I mean, I know criminals are stupid, but this seems like take the cake.
Do we know if these are, because there was a word that maybe these were all connected with the other burglaries, like Mahomes and Kelsey. Like, is there any word on that yet?
So the police statement over said that the arrests were part of an ongoing multi-state investigation of like celebrity home robberies. Now, I don't know if that means that these guys were involved in the other ones or there's a bigger web of people involved, but like they didn't not connect this to all of the other ones.
Well, just check. Are there Mahomes' game-worn cleats?
That
like,
too.
it looks like these guys are probably living in a lids, some kind of sports authority.
We also never got to the end of the influencer woman that called the police, right? We still don't know why she was there and what her
gone.
deal with. I mean, she still exists. Like, she's still on social media, but like, there's been no further explanation of her
you're not
Joe
gonna hear
Burrow
that.
connection, right?
No, because Joe's so private. I'm sure if she said anything, their relationship would probably be over.
I think Joe's stiff arm in national media, I think, really helped that not go further.
It doesn't seem, and this is the difference, I think, a little between if this had been LA or New York, you're going to have paparazzi staking her out, following her to her car.
Yeah.
I mean, being in Cincinnati, maybe people are respecting her privacy a little bit more.
Yeah.
To regular football news, Josh McDaniels apparently hired for a third stint in New England. He'll be Mike Vrabel's offensive coordinator. And the Saints had to postpone head coach interviews to later this week because of a rare snowstorm in the South. Giants OC Mike Kafka, Dolphins DC Anthony Weaver should now get their second interviews again later this week. Today's poll question: if you lose by 4 points, but Sidney Sweeney came to watch you play, did you really lose? I'm asking for the Nets.
They get it into Claxton. Hands it off for D'Angelo Russell near the midcourt line. Russell high on the left, gives to Cam Johnson. Quick three, straight on, off the heel, bounce high in the air. Hart comes in, gets the rebound, and calls a timeout with 12 seconds to go.
Would I wear a Sidney Sweeney Nets jersey? Maybe. That's Chris Carino on Nets Radio. That was Brooklyn's last chance. They lose at home in front of Sidney to the Knicks. 99-95. Karl Anthony Towns, 25 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists.
9 in a row, Bogusch. 9 straight Knicks wins over the Nets.
Yeah, I'd hope so. EJ, have you seen who plays for the Nets these days?
I was a little surprised that Sidney Sweeney got this much attention. Not because I'm surprised she gets attention, but there's celebrities at these basketball games all the time.
Not in Brooklyn, sister.
Yeah, Brooklyn?
I mean, it's not like she showed up at an OKC. Like, that'd be kind of random.
It's not that far off. It's about as random as it gets these days.
It was so bad that the celebrities that kept showing were Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, and then Sidney. Like, they were no net celebrities. It was like Spike and Ben are there for the Knicks, and then Sidney's here.
And then they had Mr. Whammy.
Yeah, that guy. That guy's cool, by the way. We've done some stories on him in New York One. But, like, there was no...
That's the guy who walks around with the pots and pans?
No, that's the guy with the who does the weird
he
fingers
tries
on
to
the
jinx
free throw line.
people.
The jinx, and he definitely works, by the way. That those guys miss free throws. Anyway, but no, there was no Nets celebrities. They don't even for what was a quote unquote primetime game.
Are there even Nets celebrities?
Yeah, WFAN's Evan Roberts.
Oh, he was there.
I know he was.
He stormed out as soon as that ball hit the back of the iron. He didn't even want to stay for the Knicks celebration. 9 in a row.
Meow.
I mean, they only had one Cam and no Ben Simmons last night. Of course you guys won by just 4 points, though. There was an NBA trade yesterday. The Suns have dealt their unprotected 2031 first-round pick to the Jazz for first-rounders in 25, 27, and 29. Very sweet of them to think that there would be a 2031. Maybe this is Phoenix gearing up to trade for Jimmy Butler.
Man, this Phoenix owner has got to be... I appreciate when teams try to go all in. Perloff, I think you do too. But this is a disaster. Like, how do you not see that you are just throwing bad money after bad money, right? Like, does anyone think Jimmy Butler is going to come and they're going to be a title team?
Not me. I don't know you, Pearl.
Not a chance.
I think it gives them a better chance than they have now. But the thing is, like, where are they going otherwise?
Well, this is the point, though. The trade they made yesterday, which was kind of confusing because it was just draft picks, is basically giving away future draft picks for a current draft pick, right? So they are trying to gear up and get some assets to trade for Jimmy Butler, but it's really putting all your eggs in this basket.
I did see one person make an interesting point, though. Could you support what the Suns are doing compared to what, like, the Lakers and Warriors are doing, where they seem to have given up? It seems like they're like, hey, we're not good, so we're just going to be mediocre. Like, the Suns are picking a direction, whether you like it or not.
I know, but it's just like, do you get credit? It's like working harder, not smarter. Like, do you get credit just because you're signing famous guys? Can they play together? Do they have any chemistry? Are they going to be healthy enough? Like, it just doesn't. It seems like you're just picking stars.
But if you're an owner, though, aren't you trying to get something out of the end of Durant? Like, your time frame is now or now. You have like a year.
I think I've seen so many organizations now make this mistake. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like the Nets we were talking about.
Yeah, we were just talking about them, and it's crazy.
But you have to, like, you're in a tough spot. Like, you got to chase something with Durant. Otherwise, just let it fizzle into nothing. Well, what's the point of that? Why even bother? Might as well trade Durant.
I thought there might have been a world where they were doing that.
If I may, this happened last night in Edmonton.
Picked off Skinner, who, remember, has won his last 9 following a loss. Drysdale hands off. Corey Perry puts Edmonton right back in the game at 3-2. Logan Thompson. There's shrapnel on the ice, and the Caps are upset about it.
Something came over the glass, and he says it distracted him.
The thing that came over the glass, thrown by a fan that distracted Washington goalie Logan Thompson, was a basket of nachos. Oiler winger Corey Perry was basically straddling the chips and the cheese when he took that shot. Here's Washington head coach Spencer Carberry.
I don't think there's much they can do. I didn't even notice it, and then the guys were yelling, "There's nachos on the ice," and I don't know. Can we challenge that?
The Caps did win the game 3-2. Spencer also asked if they kept the nachos for the coach's postgame.
How do you waste nachos? Nachos is an elite food.
And you can't accidentally spill them onto the hockey rink.
Definitely not.
Well, I was thinking it's a bad cleanup on ice. All the cheese and then the nachos are going to break. Like, that's not easy. You're grossed out by it.
Yeah.
Now I want nachos.
I'm grossed out by stadium nachos. You guys consume that garbage?
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. But still, once you've committed, you can't throw them over the ice. Come on.
There's no cheese in that cheese sauce. I don't know what it is, but
it's called Yellow 57.
I don't want it anywhere near me. Feels radioactive. Bogusch, thank you so much. See you guys on the phones. We're asking the question, which college football head coach, now needs to win a title above all else? Ryan Day, he got his. He's a made man now, at least for the next little bit. Who's next up? 855-212-4227. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
Hitting up the show, Maggie and Perloff dropping takes that glow. In the chat, Stunna Filmo runs the scene, spitting fire so hot it makes the snow seem mean. Down in Louisiana, Uncle Sam's lit. Rare snow on the ground, but he don't give a shit. Snow in the South, man, what the fuck's this? While the Lottie's ghosting work, he's always dismissed. Stunna Filmo dropping shit like whoa. Uncle Sam's buzz, snow on the floor. Daily says time to bust the plow now, while the Lottie's at home chilling somehow. Fillmore's spitting truth, he's the chat's big hitter. Drunk Sam slipping whiskey in his glitter. Maggie's crushing staff, Perloff's got the flow. And Bilotti, he's like, work? Hell no. Daly's cracking jokes, where's that one plow? Louisiana snow, it's rare as Pete somehow. Stunner's calling out, Sam's laughing out loud. Bilotti's excuses, bury them in a snowbound cloud. Stunner film long, dropping shit like whoa. Truckle Sam's buzz, snow on the flow. Daly says time to bust the plow now. While Bilotti's at home, chilling somehow. Bill Mo in the chat, Sam's sloshing his drink. Daly's plowing snow, making Pete rethink. Snow in Louisiana, Bilotti on the run. Both are rare as hell, like Perloff having fun. The chat stays lit, Fillmore's throwing flames. Daly's got the plow, Bilotti skips games. Maggie and Perloff hold it down so tight, while Pete's at home sleeping through the night. Drunk while Sam's laughing, snow falling slow. Daly's on the grind with that plow in tow. Fillmore's running things in the YouTube show, while Bilotti stays MIA status quo. Time to bust the plow, Daly screams in the chat. Louisiana snow ain't built for that. Maggie and Perloff, the MVPs of the day. While Bilotti's legacy just melts away.
Perloff. All right, Ryan Day off the hot seat, at least until the next game against Michigan. But no, off the hot seat, Perloff, because he finally won a national championship at Ohio State. He's a made man, as I said.
I think you can debate the Michigan losses. Like, is there any chance that Ryan Day still has a slightly warm seat if he loses again to Michigan? But I don't think so. I think this is, like, you're done. You just said a made man. Like, you're done, right? This debate is over.
I don't know, the Ohio State fan base is can be a little fickle, but I think that he has finally silenced all the doubters. I called it the greatest run to a championship that we've seen. All the teams they beat to get there, they are the rightful and worthy champion, in my opinion.
Well, I
think he's off the hot seat.
I do disagree with that take a little bit. I think everyone thinks he had the best team, and he didn't screw it up too bad. I think that's kind of where people land on Ryan Day.
Okay, well, agree to disagree. But on this part, who's the next guy? Right? We're always talking about who's the next. So who's the next guy who's feeling the most pressure to win the title? Jeff's in Tucson has a thought about it. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, guys. Hey, Perloff, are you wearing the Eagles jersey today?
Nope.
No. Okay.
You can watch us on YouTube.
I know, but I'm driving, too. I can't watch it.
Yeah, don't do that.
I drive for a living. So I'm going to go with Sarkisian. He's the next one. Sark is on the hot seat. All that talent he can get down there, all that NIL money he's going to be having, he's got to be drawing a bunch of people. Now, the other question I got for you guys is, can the quarterback he lost to the portal, can he come back out of the portal and go back to Ohio State?
Oh, but Quinn Ewers you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Ewers, and Jeff, thanks for the call. Ewers, and drive safely, Ewers declared for the draft, but he has until, I think it's the second week in February, to pull his name out of the draft and go into the portal. Could he go back to Ohio State? Yeah, I don't see if there's a rule about it. Quinn Ewers started his career at Ohio State, but never really played. He just enrolled.
Is there a rule? I mean, I have no idea. But
why couldn't you go back?
Basketball players go back all the time.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Transfer. Oh, people. Well, they go back when you don't sign with another school. So you're allowed to leave a school, come back. I mean, in the old days, you definitely couldn't do that.
I mean, there are basketball. I don't know about football. I know there are basketball players who have left a school,
played somewhere else,
and came back to that school for their last year.
I don't know why it would be different.
Penny Hardaway has like 3 guys like that. Memphis is weird.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Has college football ever had that?
I can't think of an example, but we're in kind of a new territory. I don't see why not.
I mean, you could basically play college football for 6 years now,
Right.
And you can bounce around and you can travel, transfer without impunity. So I think you can probably double back.
Yeah, I guess why not? But that being said, it would feel obviously like I think he left Ohio State. There's got to be some ill will or some feelings. Like it'd be surprising to me if he'd go back.
Well, money can patch over a lot of that ill will. But listen, Ohio State also has Julian Sayin. They've got a guy. Supposedly, the next guy is there. So I don't know about Ewers. I think he is going to come back to college, though. Do you think he's going to stay in the draft?
Well, it's a weak quarterback draft, so this might be his best chance.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I don't know. I think
that would be my one reason. I'm not gonna. I would certainly wouldn't bet against you on that take, but I do kind of think that this is the year to go in there. Teams are really desperate.
As far as like the next person I think who needs to win the title, I know this is going to sound crazy because they haven't been a head coach for very long, but I think you're going to see maybe a little start to ratchet up on Dan Lanning a bit. And the reason why is basically a compliment to Dan Lanning, which is everyone believes that the Oregon coach is a really good coach. We think he could have had that Alabama job if he wanted it.
Definitely.
Right? So he's got the talent, he's got the resources at Oregon. And they showed that the Big Ten is not too big of an assignment. I mean, he came in and won the conference in the first year. So I think that Dan Lanning, you might start to feel a little from the fan base like, hey, where's our national title? We're right up here with all the big boys. We should have the same expectation as all of them.
I think you're right. I mean, but I think the pressure is different. I think it's a little bit like he's in Oregon. The fan base is different. I mean, this is probably
I think they're rabid.
I just think they're a little bit nicer up there in Oregon.
Don't mistake the niceness, though, for not wanting to win. I mean,
but I just don't feel like that's a place where they're like, like New York. It's like if you don't win like a year, like get rid of them. I feel like Oregon people are probably a little more patient. I really do. I think it's the Oregon fan base. I can't see them just being like, Dan Lanning, where this is time or get out. This doesn't sound like a vibe.
Well, maybe not, but I think they probably are looking around and wondering, like, okay, it's been 3 years. You've been awesome for these 3 years.
Yeah.
And let's have what's going on here. Let's finally break through.
I just think Sark is he's a gigantic name. B's got arch, and he's got the money of Texas. Like those three of those things, I think make him the number one target in the sport. Lincoln Riley would be if Lincoln Riley was anywhere close. Lincoln Riley actually stays out of this conversation because he doesn't even have a chance.
Because his teams have been bad. I think James Franklin stays out of this conversation too because nobody has any faith that he can actually win a big game.
But that was actually my second choice because he's actually got some pressure to win because all the guys are coming back next year. I think Penn State people might look at this. Well, if you're not going to win with this team,
right? Then
when are you going to win?
Keep them coming, guys. Who is the next head coach who's feeling the heat? It's funny we didn't mention Kalen DeBoer.
Nice second year. It's a little early, but yeah.
Eventually, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's comfortable.
855-212-4227. I also want to get to Jerry, who's in San Diego, because I've been laying down some ground rules for anyone who wants to join the Buffalo Bills bandwagon before the AFC Championship game. Kind of noticed a little Chiefs fatigue, a little Chiefs backlash. A lot of people rooting for Buffalo, but there's going to be some rules. Jerry, how are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're great.
Hey, you guys are classic. Great show, man. Great show. I listen to you all the time. Listen, I go way back. Chargers fan, lifetime season ticket holders, early 60s. Disappointment San Diego. How many stories you want me to tell you? But let's go back to the blowout with the AFL Championship game. 50-0 Buffalo. They just blew San Diego off the map. And, the Bills' rise to prominence was when OJ was at his prime, man.
Yep.
He was on everybody's TV throughout the country. The Bills came to start him back then, but fell off until Big Jim came along and they got their 4 Super Bowls, lost them. But, in 1980, they had Chargers were on their way to the Super Bowl. Fouts and the crew was doing their thing, Air Coryell. And we were going to blow out Buffalo in the championship game in San Diego. And that night they had a Buffalo barbecue. And thousands of fans came out, and you got to stay in the parking lot overnight, and the game was the next day. And so, woke up to a sea of paper plates all over that parking lot, and it was amazing. But, of course, Buffalo blew them out.
Yeah.
And so, I've watched a lot of Kansas City games back when Otis Taylor was doing his thing with, Lemmy Dawson, Raiders. I've met Al Davis in the stadium one morning. I've done a lot of stuff, NFL-wise that I was through with them when the Chargers got blown out of San Diego here and walked away.
You know what, Jerry? I'm going to be honest. I think you'd apply. I think we're going to let you in.
And the cold weather thing, I got to meet criteria 1. I lived in Northern California for about 10 years.
Okay.
And I saw the inversion where you talked about it was dark all day and it stays gray the whole time.
Oh, Jerry, thank you. We're up against it. That is like my worst. I could not live in a place that's either light all the time or dark all the time. That is so crazy. I think Jerry ticks off 2 important ones. Had to have lived in a cold weather place from October to May in 1 calendar year, and had to experience heartbreak with the other teams that you root for.
Yeah, he's in.
I've got 2 more rules for you. Get to them next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Andrew Perloff loves his turtle, call it chill shot bliss. He feeds it kale and lettuce, then gives it a little kiss. Andrew Bogusch's turtles got a mansion in the tank with a slide, a tiny hammock, and a treasure chest bank. Two-tone Tony rolls in, his turtles got swag, cruising slow but steady, repping that reptile flag. Meanwhile, Kevin LaMelle's got tacos on his plate. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he's got no time to wait. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony, slow and steady crew. Kevin's got breakfast tacos, what's Peter gonna do? Yo, Perloff's turtles chillin', basking in the heat. Bogusch's turtles flexing, got gold chains on its feet. Tony's turtles on TikTok, racking up views, while Kevin's tacos sizzle, serving up the news. But Belotti's MIA, not a damn thing new. Work? Nah, he'd rather just hit snooze. We're out here hustling, making turtles the stars, and Pete's just ghosting like he's hanging on Mars. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony, slow and steady crew. Kevin's got breakfast tacos, what's Peter gonna do? Yo, Perloff's turtle spotlight, tacos taking the stage, while Belotti's excuses keep showing his age. Perloff's turtles named LeBron, Bogusch calls his taco just for the show. Tony's turtles trending, breaking the mold. Kevin's got a taco so spicy it's gold. And Pete, yeah, fuck that guy, still a no-show. The legend of Belotti always laying low. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony, slow and steady crew. Kevin's got breakfast tacos, what's Peter gonna do? So here's to turtles, tacos, and the crew on the grind. Except for Bellotti, who's always lagging behind. Perloff, Bogusch, Tony, Kevin, y'all are the best. But Peter Bellotti, man, he's failed the test. So here's to turtles, tacos, and the crew on the grind. Except for Bellotti, who's always lagging behind. Perloff, Bogusch, Tony, Kevin, y'all are the best. But Peter Bellotti, man, he's failed the
I gotta wait. You gotta wait. I know that.
Is this the first time you've ever sung?
Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum.
We need to help him out here.
Never seemed so good.
So good! So good! So good!
I've been inclined to believe
Now you feel it.
they never would. Good times never seem so good. So good.
So good. So good.
I've been inclined.
Now you're feeling it. Let's go.
To believe they never would.
All right, wow.
Is this it out? Bill, make me want to shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Come on now. Come on now. The Bills are making it happen now. Stand up and come on and shout. Yeah. Yeah. Come on and shout. Kick it up now. Shout.
The people have spoken, Pearl. They seem a little done with Kansas City. Now, obviously, the diehard Chiefs fans, you want your team to win forever and ever and ever. But the rest of us may be a little bit sick of all this Chiefs success, which I'm a little surprised by because we love greatness. And the idea that the Chiefs are going for a three-peat, it's never been done before. I thought some people would be rooting for that. Let's root for history, right? If you don't have a dog in the fight. Mm-hmm. But yet I've noticed the opposite is happening. I've noticed more people wanting to come over to the Buffalo Bills bandwagon or rooting for the Bills either to see something different or because the Chiefs rubbed them the wrong way or a variety of reasons. But I'm a little surprised by it.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that many people have a problem. They're definitely like the team now. I think it's really good for sports when they have dynasties. I mean, NFL has risen on the backs of parity, but I do think like it's really good to have a three-peat. Like, I mean, the ratings are just going to be, if they three-peat, I mean, can you imagine what the Chiefs' ratings are going to be next year? So I think it's a love them or hate them. Like, you could do both. I think that's one thing about the Chiefs. I don't think everybody hates the Chiefs. I think there are a lot of people who still love the Chiefs. And I just think the more they win, the more must-watch they're going to be. It's been a long time because the Patriots dynasty was a little bit boring in a sense. Like, their style of play was so, I don't know. They just like Tom Brady was good, but it's not like you pull up Tom Brady highlights in the morning. The Chiefs have it all. They have the dynasty and they're exciting and they have celebrity girlfriends who are there. I mean, Giselle was there. Taylor Swift. I just think there's a lot going on. They do trick plays. They're fun. They have funny commercials where Bill Belichick and the Patriots were just so downtrodden throughout the whole run. I think there are, obviously you say that people are hating them, but they're in every commercial. Obviously, somebody likes them.
Yeah, that's true. But you're right. There did not feel like there was any joy with the Patriots where there is joy maybe with the Kansas City Chiefs. Or at least that's how Mahomes plays. We asked you on social, on X, do you hate the Kansas City Chiefs? Literally 50-50. 50-50 in the responses, and you can go vote at Maggie and Pearl. So we've been talking a little about Kansas City and about sort of how do people view them? Do people want another Kansas City Eagles rematch?
No. Nobody wants that.
Well, nobody wants that maybe because the Eagle fans can be a little hard to take. And I say that sitting next to you as a diehard Eagle fan, but it gave us a great game.
Nah, but that has a been there, done that feel. Like you have the Commanders and the Bills are super exciting new teams. There's just no way anybody wants to see the Eagles Chiefs. That's clearly the last. I mean, and I'm admitting that I hear that Eagles fans want to see it, but I can't imagine a neutral fan, right? Like, wouldn't you want to see Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen?
I guess, but again, I thought people want to see history be made, or at least be tried.
I do think a lot of people do want to see the Chiefs.
Okay,
I think the Chiefs.
That's not what I'm getting from the public.
I think if you really like, I think that people would be a little disappointed if the Chiefs weren't in the Super Bowl in the sense that you couldn't like keep rooting against them. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not saying that like, ooh, I'm hoping that little team from KC gets a three-peat, but I do think it's fun to see the dynasty. I mean, Bills Commanders would be good. It'd be fun and interesting, but it's not like epic. It feels more like the Rams Bengals, right? Like a one-off.
Interesting. 855-212-4227. Well, the Chiefs have inspired our great debate for today. On Wednesdays, we do a little something called the Great Debate.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, today's great debate. the most hated teams of all time. Biggest sports villains, if you will, but from the team perspective. Talking about, do people hate the Chiefs? You know what we're talking about. We're talking about the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid Chiefs. We're not talking about the Len Dawson. Nobody hates those teams. Okay? We're not talking about, Trent Green. We're just talking about this iteration. What team did you hate the most, or do you hate the most? Perloff, do you want to get us started?
Well, yeah, I'll take the low-hanging fruit. Like a lot of people, I do always hated Duke basketball. Yeah, starting with Christian Laettner.
There's a bubble on Laettner. And Laettner kicks it.
That kid Timberlake had pushed me down earlier in the game, maybe 1 or 2 minutes before, and so I just made a mental note to try to get him back and be physical with him. And, the next time I look up, he's standing right underneath me.
Stepped right in his chest.
I don't know if he did it on purpose or not.
Yeah, he did.
It was a dumb thing to do, but sometimes the emotion of the game, gets into your head too far, and I got a technical, and then that was it.
Yeah, I mean, don't you hate him?
Who, Laettner?
Oh, yeah, after that.
This is your
just
pick. Go ahead.
That explanation, I'm saying, just that clip alone, how do you not hate that guy? It's because they're so snooty. They're Duke. The number one common ingredient, I think, with all of our choices is going to be arrogance. And maybe the Yankees, but other than that, find me a more arrogant organization than Duke basketball. I don't care if it's Laettner. I don't care if it's J.J. Redick. I don't care if it's Grayson Allen. Just go down the list. Put me on the sideline of an ACC court. I'm going to hold up a poster with something clever and mean about a Duke player. I've always hated Duke basketball. Loved Zion and loved Grant Hill. But there are exceptions. But it was just the arrogance, the deep arrogance, and Coach K. Coach K, Mr. I'm better than you.
Okay. Today's great debate. We're asking for the most hated teams of all time. I'll go next. Part of this is arrogance. Part of it is personal torment. Part of it is actual cheating allegations. The Brady-Belichick Patriots, come on. Very hateable. The success, 17 out of 19 years, they win the AFC East, the 6 Super Bowls, of course. The cheating, as I mentioned, Spygate, Deflategate, whatever you think about it. And more than the arrogance, I think, of the Patriots, Perloff, it's the smugness. The smugness led by Bill Belichick. And Brady.
Read the MRI.
Brady played into it as well. They were like robots. And even Gronkowski, one of the most likable people to play football in the 100-year history of the league, just a big goofball, couldn't even be likable with the Patriots. They even broke through despite the Pats, which is something. Bill Belichick was smug. That's part of the reason why they are the most hateable.
How much will what happened affect your usage, the way you use them in the game against the Chiefs? What happened on Sunday with him?
Well, we'll find out on Saturday. I could just Xerox you a copy of the game plan. You can send it over to Kansas City if you got. I mean, it might be easier for all of us.
Yeah.
That was Mike Reese, our buddy there, too. What the heck?
Fantastic reporter, and Belichick knows it. The dominance, the smugness, the Brady-Belichick Patriots, the success.
Belichick.
Most hated teams. EJ, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going with the team that I think all over America really rooted against and came behind as a pure op in all of basketball. I'm talking about the Heatles, the Miami Heat, when LeBron James and Chris Bosh joined Dwayne Wade to form the Big Three and take their talents to South Beach. They went, they had smoke machines, they talked about winning 7 titles.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
It was as pretentious as it got, and it got so bad that after they lost in the finals the first year, LeBron had to address a question about how do you feel now that America is cheering that you lost?
Does it bother you that so many people are happy to see you fail?
Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, all the people that was rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they got to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They got the same personal problems that they had today. And I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family.
Yeah, I'm still rich I'm still famous. I still live on South Beach, and you're still a fat loser.
Yeah.
That's basically what LeBron James told America when we cheered the Heat losing.
No, I think you forgot
Finals.
he also implied broke and
I said
lonely.
rich. That was the first one, rich.
And I want my damn respect, too.
I mean, come on. I mean, what gets more hateable than that? Those Heat teams were just completely unlikable. So I'm going with the Heatles.
EJ, tell me that was out of context. I do remember it.
Put the question in there.
Wow.
I made sure you got
No.
the question in there so everyone heard it.
God, the sound in this segment is awesome so
It's
far.
amazing. It's amazing that LeBron has any fans left after he said that. Anyone came back. That was worse than I remember it. All right, Manny, the most hated teams of all time. That's our great debate today. Go for it.
All right, so I'm taking you back to a long time ago. It's the mid-2010s, okay? You've got Steph Curry. You've got Klay Thompson on a basketball team. Couple of lovable guys, couple of fine basketball players, whatever. You do have this one fella named Draymond Green, who's a little bit of a hothead, can get under the skin of people. But you know what? The Warriors were winning basketball games. So when you go ahead and start to win basketball games and then you go ahead and add one of the best players in the world in Kevin Durant, I think all of a sudden that love that the Splash Brothers, had, all of a sudden that's gone.
I just don't trust none of y'all. Every time I say something, it's get twisted up and thrown out in so many different publications, try to tear me down with my words that I say. So when I don't say nothing, it's a problem. I just want to play ball. I want to go to the gym and go home. That's all. Is that a problem? All right, then.
All right, then.
Yeah, I mean, how are you playing? How's the team playing in the last couple weeks?
I'm done. You know you don't care about that.
I'm not necessarily Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's Warriors, but Kevin Durant's Warriors, very unlikable.
There was a time, I think, when Draymond was very likable. Second-round draft pick, kind of overachieved, changed his body. Perfect, he was kind of Steph's protector, and Durant made
kicked
that.
the guy in the junk.
It was just one. I think we forgive him.
And over again.
Yeah.
God, this again, like you are making these people sound terrible. I feel like we almost have to play some nicer quotes from these guys at some point.
The executive producer of the show is really good.
I love it when Durant's like, all I want to do is play basketball and go home. It's like, you are the most online person that exists in the
And they
world.
asked him, hey, what was the basketball? I'm out of here.
Yeah,
You
how's
don't
the
care
team
about
doing?
that.
How dare you? You don't care about that. What do you think he cares about? What does he care about?
Oh,
Imagine him in the New York media.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that happened.
Bogusch.
I don't listen to Manny.
It's like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Bogusch doesn't listen to Manny. Perloff doesn't listen to Bogusch. None of us are listening to each other.
Nope.
All right, the most hated teams of all time. Bogusch, you're last.
Other than the current New York Knicks, this one's very, very personal to me. It was one of the darkest days or phases of my sports fandom. And it all began with an annoying teenager and a bumbling umpire.
In right field, Tarasco going back to the track, to the wall. And what happens here? He contends that a fan reaches up and touches it. But Richie Garcia says no, it's a home run.
And that's how the Yankee dynasty of my lifetime began. And living in New York City, surrounded by smug, terrible Yankee fans, it was very easy to hate this group. I personally was in their clubhouse as they celebrated beating my Mets in the Subway Series. I had to watch that right here. It's a terrible group of humans. I wish...
Humans.
I wish that they actually were bad people. I don't have...
No, the Mets are bad people.
I know. I don't have Derek Jeter being salty. I don't have Bernie Williams killing kittens. I don't have any... They just have dudes that kept winning games over and over and over again for way too many seasons. It drove me and many other people here in Cleveland, in Seattle, in Boston crazy. The Yankees suck still.
Yeah, but that team, you hate that team more or A-Rod? Because if you throw A-Rod into that mix, then we're talking.
They won 4 titles in my face. A-Rod didn't do that.
I think it's hard because Mariano Rivera might be the nicest person alive. And
Except for Bernie Williams and Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams are just like
2 and 3.
really prince of guys. I mean, we don't really know them, but I feel like we've been around them a little bit.
You know enough about Bernie Williams to know that Bernie Williams is a nice guy.
He's my emergency contact.
Yeah,
Bernie
I know,
Williams,
right.
I trust with my kid.
But I totally get what Bogusch is saying. Yeah, totally they qualify. They remember what they did to the poor Padres? Yeah, forget it.
And you guys, none of you guys really did a personal thing. Like, my Yankee hate and other Met fans' Yankee hate is so deep that there are times where we enjoy Yankee losses more than Met wins.
Yeah.
We don't care. Now, part of that was because the Mets didn't win a lot.
That's a little psycho. But, no, it's very I think we all added a personal element to this. I mean, Tom Brady held passing records in Buffalo Stadium as an opponent.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
LeBron James flirted with being Nick for like 5 years and then took his talent to South Beach. It's personal.
yeah, we all have personal.
Also, Pat Riley sucks.
When you Google who are the most hated teams in sports, there's a lot of Yankees. Like it is
Different
personal.
eras.
And, yeah, it's universal as well. Like they're just people hate what they called the Evil Empire. What else do you need to know? There's no other team that was called the Evil Empire.
But it was basically for baseball. Like they were not bleeps. Like they just won.
Oh, right.
That's why we hated them.
That's true.
Right. The people were not terrible.
No one stepped on a player's chest like Christian Leitner.
But it's not like none of our people. Okay, that's
Belichick cheated. I mean, that's why I put him as unlikable.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like
Allegedly.
LeBron said a bunch of crazy, arrogant things.
Right.
He didn't really.
Did Jeter do that? No. It was always nice. Didn't say anything for 2 decades.
Yeah, you miserable.
But Steinbrenner was bad.
Yeah,
Right.
but this was also this was
tail
not
end.
peak crazy Steinbrenner.
He's literally suspended when they built this team.
Right. That's why they won 4 titles.
No kidding. 855-212-4227. All right, that's our great debate.
Vamos Yankees.
The most hated teams of all time. Let's go. You can watch the show if you want to. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. And we are so proud to announce that we have moved to Sirius XM channel 375. Babe Ruth, John Elway, Reggie Bush. That's how you remember 375.
Do you have a personalized 375?
I thought this one up, so I like this one. But yeah, I'll come up with a little more personal.
I mean, there's got to be a bill like, wait, what's Hamlin again?
DeMar Hamlin is 3. EJ Manuel, what number are you? Was he 7 or 5?
I've been 7. I think Tyrod Taylor was 5.
Oh, there you go. I got it. Got the
Tyrod Taylor was 5. That's a weird number for a quarterback.
I got to double check. I got to double check. Don't hold me to it.
I think JP Lossman was 5.
Oh, that's even better.
I think you're right.
Well, I'm trying to get people to remember the 375, not forget the 375.
Right.
Sirius XM 375, the free Odyssey app, which you can download, and it's awesome. Okay, let's go. The most hated teams of all time.
All right, Maggie.
Let's do teams we love. Yeah.
Let's talk about love. Because you know who I love? I love Anthony Edwards. You know what I love about Anthony Edwards? Going over 26.5 points tonight. Yeah, I'm talking about Prize Picks. Okay, Anthony Edwards, his last 3 games, 36, 28, 32. So he's got to get 26.5 tonight, and I can win on Prize Picks. Best place to play daily fantasy. Millions and billions of dollars in award winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all, so simple to use. You pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money.
Loving that college basketball is in full effect, and if you are a Hoops fan, you got to get in on Prize Picks because you can combine your college basketball wagers with the NHL, with the NFL. It's unfortunate that college football is now done, but we march on, Pearl.
Yeah.
There's so much to do on DraftKings. You become this massive soccer fan now simply because of Prize Picks. We're absolutely obsessed.
Except occasionally I get the soccer and the e-gamers mixed up. It happens. Because they all have one name.
Listen, as long as you're winning, that's what is important. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's available in more than 40 states, including our friends in California and Texas. What do? You download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P. Get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks. You get a $50 credit instantly and you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Chef's kiss. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. On Wednesdays, we do the Great Debate. Today, inspired by what we think is some Chiefs backlash, mostly because of their success.
Also, some Ohio State backlash.
And Ohio State backlash. We were inspired. So our Great Debate is who are the most hateable teams of all time. Perloff went with, go ahead.
Duke, Blue Devils.
Yeah, the Christian Laettner era, like Coach K. Or no, you said across all eras, as long as Coach K was there, right?
Oh, yeah. Nobody hates the Duke now. But, yeah, no, I think Christian Laettner, it's all the same era. Nothing changed, right? Christian Laettner stepped on that guy, and everybody inherited that evilness.
Is Grayson Allen the last Duke player that we've really hated as a nation?
Yeah, definitely.
Reddick followed the group you talked about eventually, and then Grayson. No one after that got the same heat. Like those
Cooper Flagg doesn't get any of that.
Which is the funniest part, though, about Duke. Yeah. And I picked Belichick and Brady's Patriots, and EJ picked the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade Heatles. Pat Riley, well, it was Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley in the front office. Manny picked the Kevin Durant Warriors, just adding the best player to the best team. And Bogusch picked the New York Yankees, the first. Jeter, Mo, Bernie Williams, Andy Pettit era. Okay, so the one thing about the Duke, though, it's funny to me that they have some of the most hated basketball players of all time and actually some of the most beloved guys of all time. You mentioned Grant Hill. You will not find one person alive who has a bad thing to say about Grant Hill. I would say the same thing about Carlos Boozer. Find anybody who will say something bad about Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, I mean, it was Boozer. It's the big guys at Elton Brand. Nobody had a problem with Elton Brand. Super
Everyone
nice guy.
loves Elton Brand.
It's the shooting guards that.
Elton Brand was one and done, maybe a little bit different, but I just.
Langdon got a lot of heat, which is funny because he's also like a saint. He's from Alaska. He's the nicest guy on earth.
I just think that it's funny to me they also have some of those beloved. John Shire's now their coach, and nobody seems to hate him as much.
I think there is a strain that some people thought Duke was propped up because they had white stars. I mean, there was definitely that was the genesis of some of this. Everyone's like, is Bobby Hurley really better than all these players? Like, is he the number one player in America? That was definitely part of it. So I think some people thought they were overrated. I mean,
totally.
This go back to like early 90s. But I think Leitner's personality was he's like, I'm better than you, and stick your thumb in your eye.
Sure.
Yeah,
the arrogance has to be part of all of these teams if you're going to be most hateable.
Right, Patriots, Yankees. This is like we're creating this evil empire of teams.
Well, I mean, that's the theme today. PJ's in Atlanta. PJ, weigh in the most hated teams of all time.
The 89-90 Duke Blue Devils. It's Kenny Anderson, Dennis Scott, and Brian Oliver. It's the day of the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 24, when Frisco buried the Denver Broncos. I'm at Cameron Indoor for the first time, and Duke beats Georgia Tech by 2 points, and they throw Twinkies at Dennis Scott. They literally,
wow.
first time at Cameron Indoor, and over my head, Twinkies in the wrapper. They say, "Hey, Dennis," and they throw Twinkies at him. They win by 2. Duke is the worst team of all time. And as a Bears fan, can I root for the Bills?
Okay, well, we have so I'm laying out the groundwork. PJ, thank you.
By the way, can I say, PJ sounds like a broadcaster.
Yeah, you have a great voice.
It's like Jim Nantz. What's going on here?
I remember the Bills with the red face mask. Does that count?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up because throughout the show, I've been noticing that a lot of people want to jump on the Bills bandwagon.
I'm a Joe Ferguson guy too. I'm old school. I'm 55.
Well, now you're just like now you're the
Bills
marching
super fan.
You're the president of the Bills Mafia. PJ, thank you. I've been laying out and great call. I've been laying out some criteria. If you want to root against the Chiefs, but you want to come waltzing over to the Bills bandwagon, well, hold on a second. We're not just taking anybody. And as a lifelong Bills fan, I feel like I'm in position to lay some groundwork here. So I've already given out 2 rules, 2 criteria that you must have to be part of Bills Mafia. One,
Bills make me wanna
you must have lived in a cold weather place for at least one full winter, October to May, because that's what the winters are in Buffalo. You have to have experienced it. You also have to have experienced heartbreak in some other team you root for, preferably something that has a nickname. So PJ is a Bears fan.
Oh, well,
plenty of heartbreak.
I mean, Fog Bowl is the best name. What else do they have?
Well, they haven't had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards in their entire history.
Rex Gross.
Oh, I think the Bears moment is Jay Cutler.
Oh no, that also Cody Parkey.
Oh,
yeah.
The double doink. There you go.
That's a
PJ,
name.
You're in. There's going to be a third criteria that I have here, and I'm just warning you, it's going to be the most controversial of all of them. But so far, you have to have lived in a cold place and experienced heartbreak with another team. There you go. And I'll give you the third one in a little bit. We're asking you today for the most hated teams of all time. Sean is our buddy in Oregon. What's up, Sean?
Hey, can I give you one more thing that you have to do to jump on that Bills bandwagon?
I'll consider it.
You got to show courage. You got to be somebody that's brave enough to jump on a train that there's a sign saying train wreck coming.
Hey.
You got to be that kind of person.
You know, Sean, you're off. All right? You're not getting on the bandwagon. Don't come crying to me after the Bills beat the Chiefs next week saying, "Oh, I want to root for the Bills, Maggie, over Perloff's Eagles," because the inn is closed.
Well, I root for a good story. See, and I don't mess up a good story. And that's why I told you the Lions were going to win. See, the Lions are they're a storied franchise, and it's a story about losing, and you don't want to mess that story up. And this year, you know what the story is? The story is about the Heisman Trophy winning #1 draft pick with a first-year head coach winning the Super Bowl. That's what the story is this year.
So you're predicting a Commanders victory.
I'm saying I'm not really. I mean, I'm still thinking the Eagles might do it as long as the quarterback stays healthy. But I really think that's the story. If this happens, this would be the best story ever. And I'm all about the story here.
The
Commanders. You know what? You don't want to mess up a good story. You know, that's why I told but people were rooting for the Lions. I said, you don't want to mess up a good story.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't respond to that, calling them losers. The one thing about the story, though, Sean, is that there's never been a rookie who's won the Super Bowl. You think Jaden Daniels should be the guy to upend that?
Yeah.
What kind of story would this be? I mean, I think he's the best new thing next to sliced bread. I've been telling that to people for months. I've been watching this guy get more and more better and better, and that's what it's about week by week, what you see happening. And then when I saw Joe Gibbs at the game, in the Vikings game, I thought, holy smokes, brother. I know my skin starts standing on end.
Oh, all right. Sean, you've made the case.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably I'd still vote Bills as like the more lovable story, but they're close. Sean does make a compelling case.
No. Sean is wrong about one thing. That he's totally wrong about something, which I'm surprised because Sean can be sometimes very dead on, but he's just dead wrong about this. There's nothing that's better in sports when the team that's been the perennial loser finally gets over the hump. The Cubs did it. The Red Sox did it. You love when the Cleveland Cavaliers finally won. Do you understand the type of party that would happen if somehow the Browns Sean's totally wrong about. If the Lions were to win the Super Bowl, it would be a national holiday. He's totally wrong about that. People want to see the team that's the hard luck team finally break through.
Right, they definitely do. I guess the other is the phenom rookie narrative strong. You have to squint. I can't even remember it, but it's never happened, so we don't even know. I should know this off top. Has any rookie ever played in the Super Bowl? I'm thinking
never won. Right. I don't think he ever played in either.
What was the kid? There was a guy in Miami when Woodley played for the Dolphins, like way back in the day. Was he a rookie? Anyway, we'll check that.
No, I don't think so. All right. Let's go to Dennis, who's in Syracuse. Dennis, the most hateable team of all time is who?
The 90s Cowboys, without a doubt. They were so pompous. Them, their fans, their ownership, nothing about them was likable.
Dennis, I think you're right. They definitely deserve to be on this list. I mean, I think that the 70s Cowboys were probably were they a little more likable as America's team? The 90s Cowboys were definitely more arrogant.
They were the evil empire in the 70s. That team was, I mean, everyone loves Staubach, but Landry was scary.
I know, but Staubach is like a war hero. Yeah. Like, how do you hate on that guy?
No, but they were the evil empire before the evil empire. They would come in with Landry and just be like, ooh, watch out.
I got one more for you, Maggie. What you were talking about before, could a player transfer in the portal and then come back to their original team?
Yeah.
Yes, they can. And the proof is a guy named Deuce Chestnut, who played at Syracuse, transferred to LSU, and came back to Syracuse last year.
Yeah, we thought that was. I don't think there's any rules now, right? And Dennis, thank you. The question was from a caller about Quinn Ewers and whether Quinn Ewers could go back to Ohio State. He declared for the draft, but he can pull his name out in mid-February sometime if he wants to. 855-212-4227. Keep them coming, guys. The most hated teams of all time. Bogusch, what's up?
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Has anybody mentioned the Bad Boy Pistons yet?
They certainly could be on the list.
All right.
I think a lot of people loved them, though.
Yeah?
Because they weren't superstars. It felt like a real team. It wasn't like a super team.
I don't think Boston liked them.
And I don't think 23 over in Chicago liked them too much.
Oh, wait. You're talking about which era? You're talking about the
Bad Boy
Isaiah?
Pistons. Yeah, the Bad
Okay,
Boys.
sorry. I was
Yeah.
also thinking about the other Pistons title, the Chauncey Billups.
The 04 Pistons?
Yeah, I
we
think they
love
were
them.
likable.
She
No,
was.
you're right. People did not like Lambeer. They did not like Isaiah.
Early in last night's 80-78 OT win over Butler, UConn men's basketball coach Dan Hurley did something he rarely does. He got angry at the officials, and TV cameras caught Hurley yelling at my guy Nate Farrell, "Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in the bleeping sports."
Humble guy, that Dan Hurley.
Likeable guy.
Here he comes post-game.
I've created this for myself. I'm not no victim, but I just wish that they would not have the camera on me 90% of the time, unless they feel like it's driving ratings, and more on Twitter.
I've said this to you guys maybe 5 times now. He seems to hate being UConn's coach.
I'm sorry, what? I don't even know what that bleep was.
I don't know either. I listened to it 14 times. I don't know what he was bleeping out. A bad word for people like writing from the basement. I don't know what he was trying to say there, but it was a diss at social media.
You don't have the raw sound?
No.
Yeah, I'm like, what was he? Can you play it again?
Let me see if I can play just again.
Just that part. We'll talk about Dan
Do we
Hurley.
debate? I mean, it's definitely the
on Twitter.
Yeah, more something on Twitter.
Oh, BS maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyway.
He's definitely the best coach, though, right? Like, is there a debate there?
So I think the debate would be like overall resume. I mean, he's won the last 2 national titles without a super duper high end roster and a different roster from one year to the next. So is he the best right now? Yeah, but like
There's
Tom
literally
Izzo
guys
is in the
Hall
sport.
of Fame. And Rick Pitino's in the Hall of Fame. Izzo's in the Hall of Fame.
Bill Self, Mark Few, Scott Drew.
Right, but I mean, some of those guys, like, their time has passed. I mean, Pitino is back in the game, but it's not prime Pitino.
Yeah, but if you're telling me Pitino versus, Dan Hurley, I'd be curious as a coaching matchup.
Rick Pitino today?
I mean, we're going to see St. John's UConn. I mean, so don't, I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Really?
don't-
Oh,
We're going to find out.
I mean, Rick Pitino just coach at Iona like 3 years ago?
He did a great job there.
That was also because of the scandals. Like he had to get back into the sport by baby steps.
I don't know. I mean, I as an experiment, because we had this debate earlier, I pulled up 5. I Googled best college basketball coach right now, and there's 5 rankings, and all of them have Dan Hurley number 1.
Right, because he's won the last 2 national titles.
Right. So
but
he's the best.
Do you really
historically,
think
he's
that
not better
Bill
than Izzo
Self?
and Self yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think. I think Hurley's reputation is much better. I think the average college basketball fan thinks Hurley's a better coach than Self. Self is polarizing. There are a lot of people who don't love Bill Self.
Yeah, but that's different. What about the success? I mean, Kansas
Well,
has
the
been
question
an
was who's the-
absolute wagon.
Right, but who's the best college basketball coach? I didn't even think there was a debate going on. I thought like when Coach K and cleared out, then they needed like a guy, and Hurley's the guy.
I mean, he may be the best guy going, but
Right.
like we've been saying,
Yeah,
though, there's
Tom Izzo
guys
still
with
exists.
massive resumes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not
stack up
debating
with
who's the greatest
Hurley.
resume. I'm just saying who's the best college basketball coach right now. I think if you ask the average fan, would they say, "Oh yeah, obviously Hurley"?
Can you put that out as a poll question, please? Who's the best college basketball coach right now? And don't give any options.
yeah.
Just let people respond.
I think that's hard as a poll question. But.
Yeah, not a poll question, question.
Yeah,
Regular
yeah.
question.
But like, but the resume, none of that stuff matters. Like resume, like he's clearly remember the Lakers tried to hire him, like he's the man right now.
Also, with these press conferences, I'm glad he didn't go to the Lakers because he wouldn't last 5 seconds. He would implode.
He couldn't survive an entire NBA season.
But
No
he
shot.
seems to thrive on this weirdness, though. No,
I
isn't
don't
this
know,
part
man.
of his act?
I don't know if it's an act, though. He just went. Have you ever seen him in a good mood?
He literally said in the same breath, "Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in the sport, and also get the camera off me." What are you talking about,
It
man?
all somehow works, right?
Let me act
he
like
wins-
a baby in secrecy.
Yeah. If it wins, it works. But,
But that's what else? What's the other objective to win hearts and minds? This is totally a W and
no, but I'm
L
saying
business.
if you go to the Lakers, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think you're winning, and it's not going to go over the same way.
Oh,
You can
right.
pull this kind of crap in college because you have all this power, and because you maybe are the best coach in the sport right now. You go to the Lakers, you're just like every other NBA coach who's hired to get fired, and it's actually LeBron's world.
But I just don't think this random chaos and this bluster from him is without its purpose. I think all of this is kind of designed. I don't know what the design is. I think it's crazy. But, I mean, you laid it out well. Like, he took a team that had no right. Not only did they win the last 2 titles, like, they dominated in an era when nobody dominates. Like, there's a new champion every year until UConn came along.
Let's jump to the NBA. Last night, LeBron dunked on a dude like he dunked on those petty fans back in Miami.
Christie for 3. Good rebound by Reeves. Hook pass! LeBron! Count it!
LeBron, flex a little bit for me. Yeah, we know you're strong.
That's from Spectrum Sportsnet. LeBron dunking on Jonas Valanciunas off a lob from Austin Reeves. He finished with 21 points, 10 boards, 13 assists, and a 111-88 win over the Wizards, who have now dropped 11 in a row. Aaron Glenn left the building yesterday despite those threats from the Jets, but the former Jets player, current Lions D coordinator, may still become their head coach. Talks reportedly continue today. Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner, the newest members of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ichiro 1 vote shy of unanimous, just like Derek Jeter, leaving Mariano Rivera as the lone player ever to receive 100% of the vote.
Is it possible that the same person that didn't vote for Ichiro is the same person who didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
Well, we know who that person is, right? It was a guy in San Diego, I think, who did not vote for Jeter. I don't know if we're going to find out who this person is.
This person needs to be excommunicated from the sport.
I thought you were going to say executed.
No,
Dude, I thought you were going to say that
Others have
too.
suggested that.
Excommunicated.
Wow.
I'm anti-violence. No baseball games. Can't go to a baseball stadium. Can't play MLB The Show. Can't do nothing. You can't even sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Can't even hum it.
So you're saying, just want to make it clear, you're saying that Ichiro is more deserving of the Hall of Fame than Jackie Robinson. That's what you're saying.
That is absolutely not what I'm saying.
Sounds like what you're saying.
When did I mention Jackie Robinson?
Well, he wasn't unanimous, but you think Ichiro
Jackie
deserves
Robinson
to be.
should have been unanimous.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who should have been.
Right. It's
Jackie,
the
Hank
concept.
Aaron, of course.
But that's the logic that
you
the voters are going with.
Yeah, but the question on the ballot is who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
And someone saw Ichiro and said, no, that guy's an idiot or person.
And that used to be the logic. I don't think that's the logic now. My guess is if we find out this person who it was, they probably put in a blank ballot over steroids or whatever.
Oh,
that used to be
something
a protest.
different.
Yeah, originally your argument was the argument. Well, Babe Ruth wasn't 100%, so nobody was. That's out the window now because we've had Jeter come close, Ichiro come close, and Rivera get 100. So this person was probably thought they were being clever and cute by making some kind of stand by with their ballot.
Some people have done I know Ichiro is going to get in, so I'm going to vote for guys who I think are really deserving who are not getting the love. Like Andrew Jones needs my vote, right? Or Billy Wagner needed the votes.
But you have 10 votes, so you can still vote for that individual.
I know. I'm just saying. I think people use it as, all right, I know Ichiro is going to get in, so I'm going to vote for other guys. I'm not saying this person did that. I'm not saying it's right.
You know, Ichiro does get to go to the Hall of Fame still. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it seems a little like, are we focusing on the one person who didn't vote him in as opposed to the overwhelming landslide that it was for him to be first ballot? I think more people were more surprised that CC Sabathia got in first ballot.
I was.
I mean, being unanimous is special. It's like almost unprecedented. I think that's a thing. I think for someone to say that I'm going to put myself over history is the part that annoys people.
But, there's only been one player ever to do it. So it's not like that history has not been established. You're saying it's special to be a unanimous baseball player. Like Ken Griffey wasn't.
No, I'm saying, though, it's unprecedented, right?
So you're starting a new tradition.
Well, maybe you right these wrongs, right? Because these guys should have been first ballot.
Also, Ichiro's a pioneer.
Right, Ichiro is a big-time Hall of Famer, but he's not one of the top 3 or 4 of the last 20 years. I mean, he's not Cal Ripken Jr. in my opinion. Like, there's another level even above Ichiro, like Jeter and Griffey, right?
Are you talking about stars? Or are you talking about production?
I'm just saying, like Hall of Fame, like Derek Jeter's like on the Mount Rushmore. I mean, I'm saying huge. Like they're big players.
If we're talking about international impact in baseball, Ichiro is the first Japanese player. He came over, won
Position
MVP.
Player.
Yeah, position player. Came over, won MVP basically his first year, right? And rookie
of the year.
Like he's an icon. He's an international icon, literally.
And there's no doubt. With Jeter, he's a Hall of Famer. There is no conversation that ends with him not being in the Hall of Fame. There's no reason to not vote for him.
Totally. But I mean, there are bigger stars. I mean, there's a few, like Mount Rushmore guys, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, but there's also but a lot of guys can be unanimous Hall of Famers and not be on Mount Rushmore.
You're right. Like, I think what you're saying is we should start it now.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be so precious. 855-212-4227. Got more to say about the Hall of Fame. Right now, we're asking you for the most hated teams of all time. That's our great debate for today. Keep them coming, guys.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Ground ball, base hit in the right field. Heading for third is Terrence Long. The throw by Ichiro. Beautiful. Peggy got him. Holy smoke, a laser beam strike from Ichiro to the third baseman, David Bell, and Terrence Long is gunned down at third base. What a throw. 2 outs.
Iconic throw from Ichiro his rookie season in Major League Baseball. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame yesterday, along with CC Sabathia and with Billy Wagner. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Impossible not to see the impact of Ichiro, obviously. Look at the biggest star in the sport right now. Shohei Ohtani called Ichiro his idol. All the Japanese players who, I know he wasn't the first, he was the first position player, but all of the Japanese players, the way the game has become so global, Ichiro's to thank for a lot for Major League Baseball. And he was just fun to watch. His amazing skill set. Had way more power than he played with. You know, it could have been a 40 home run guy, he said, but he didn't want to hit 220. It was important for him to always be on base. So there you go.
Yeah, no, Ichiro was amazing. Didn't win. He never won at the end, right? I know he jumped around a little bit. But I don't know if that, with baseball, it's funny, with quarterbacks you have to win Super Bowls. With baseball players, it helps to win World Series, but I don't think it's required, really.
Totally different calculus.
Yeah.
Especially for the Hall of Fame.
Well, I did, yeah, but if you look at the all-time, like, great Hall of Famers, they did win.
Well, but it just is not, it's not the criteria like it is in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and the same with football.
But the reason Jeter is up there is because of the rings. The reason Jeter is the most famous modern day player is...
Yeah, but he also has the numbers that got you there, too, in terms of hits and stuff like that.
Right, but he didn't have A-Rod stats, but he's still considered just as great a player because he won the race. So I don't think it's totally divorced from wins. I do think, like, even Barry Bonds was a little bit judged, like he couldn't quite get over the top.
Yeah, I guess when you're talking about the elite players like the Ted Williams, I mean, some guys just don't win. The Ernie Bankses, they just don't win. But nobody thinks that they're any less of a player. 855-212-4227, Griffey. I mean, there's a lot of guys who didn't win.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. But I do think that I mean, Ichiro, how many playoff games did Ichiro even get to in his career?
You know, I have to look that up. Obviously, he was on the amazing Mariners team that won, 113 games? I'm doing this off the top of my head. But yeah, Ichiro, amazing. Obviously, Billy Wagner, I thought should have gotten in years ago. And CC Sabathia being first ballot, I was a little surprised by, but he's obviously a Hall of Famer.
Ichiro Suzuki played in 19 career postseason games.
In how many years?
He really just made it twice, 2001 with Seattle and 2012 with the Yankees.
In a 20-year career.
First year in Seattle, they won 116.
116. What'd I say, 113?
Yeah,
116.
that was after they lost A-Rod and King Griffey.
But, you know, I was just thinking about, Maggie, one counter, we do kill Mike Trout for not winning.
Yeah, but he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not going, but his legacy, I think, is definitely affected by that. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I think that we also, though, kind of kill the Angels for that, don't we?
Yeah, it's not Trout's fault, but I do think it's part of it.
I don't think Trout gets really a lot of heat for that. We kind of blame the Angels more, right?
You know, I've talked to you guys about what I think is rings culture that has kind of taken over sports. Like, if you don't win, then you're absolutely worthless. Like, it's this weird black and white area that I don't think athletes themselves see it this way at all. I just think baseball, we've been judging guys one way for a really long time, which is being great individually is enough.
Well, we always wonder, Mike Trout has all-time numbers. Like, he's really the biggest, most effective baseball player of our generation, but he's not the biggest star. I think we've always said that's because he never plays in the postseason.
Yeah, but also you said he's putting up these numbers. What's he supposed to do? He can't pitch.
No, it's not blaming him, but I do think, like, there's a reason. Like, he's a better player than Bryce Harper, but Bryce Harper has always been kind of a bigger star, and not even because of postseason. I just think that Trout just disappeared in Anaheim. It was not his fault, but that's a reality of his legacy.
Yeah, I think there's a flip side of that where the guy's loyal. You know, he's been loyal to a team, and, you know, again, there's only so much that he can do because, like, if you're a quarterback and you have the ball in your hand for every offensive play, I think it's okay that we expect you to win and you be the catalyst. Mike Trout has, 5 plate appearances and maybe gets 3 balls hit his way in center field? Like, there's only so much he can do. One person can't win a World Series. It's the ultimate team sport, baseball, in that way.
Right. And it's
You're talking about winning.
It's also the ultimate individual sport,
yes.
too, in a way. Yeah. Yes, but it's still, you're totally divorced. I think there's a little bit of that. Derek Jeter, come on. The champ.
855-212-4227. We're back talking football next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Feels like a lot of people are a little sick of the Chiefs. Kind of surprised. Welcome to the show, Maggie. Great, Andrew Perloff. I'm surprised, Perloff, not because we have a backlash to winners. That does happen. We love them on the rise, and then if you stay there a little too long, people start to get sick of you. I just have noticed a lot of people are coming over trying to jump on the Bills bandwagon for this AFC Championship game. And I get it a little, but I thought we always want to see history. Don't we want to see the best of the best? Like, why wouldn't people more want to see if the Chiefs can three-peat as opposed to hoping they get knocked out in the conference championship game just because you want, a little new blood in the Super Bowl? I thought that Mahomes and how he plays and how he's capable of doing something spectacular at any single moment, I thought that would have won out over a Chiefs fatigue.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think certainly the NFL wants the Chiefs. I think most people, I understand there is a Chiefs rooting for Chiefs fatigue, but there's definitely a want to see the Chiefs. If the Chiefs are not there, it's going to be a bit of a disappointment.
A letdown.
Yeah, because they're like, you want to root against the dynasty or you want to cheer for the dynasty. It's kind of like the Patriots. Obviously, the rating will be I think they'll set the all-time Super Bowl high now. Piece of Taylor. And the three-peat in the history. I think, I got to be honest, like I have really no rooting interest in there. I do think the Chiefs would probably be a better story because of the three-peat. The Bills would be great because they would be the Cubs. They'd be breaking the streak. But the three-peat we're not going to get again. I don't know when this is ever going to happen again, Maggie.
I don't know about that. Why wouldn't the Chiefs be able to rattle three more off? I mean,
it's just so hard. So many things have to go right.
I know, but they got this far. They're on the doorstep of going back to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
it's a really difficult thing to do that they're trying to pull off.
Right, but to do it, yeah, exactly. To do it again seems impossible. I mean, how many little things have gone their way?
Yeah, but we talked a little bit, I think this was like a week ago, about Mahomes breaking Brady's record of 7 Super Bowls. And it doesn't seem that crazy, quite frankly, whether they win or lose this year. He's got 4.
Yeah.
Excuse me, he's got 3. He would have 4. And
he's what, 29?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So there could be another 3. You replace Kelsey. Or maybe not a three-peat, but there's another 3 in 4 years.
Could you take your Bills fandom out of this? Narrative-wise, let the Chiefs do the three-peat next year, then Josh Allen can get a Super Bowl next year. Like, let the Chiefs have this. The Chiefs are kind of feel like at the very end of something. Kelsey's probably going to retire. The NFL has figured, like, they're definitely not the 2019 Chiefs or even the 2022. They're a different team. Can we admit that they are finding ways to win? Feels like they're holding on more than dominating teams.
Yeah, I don't know about that, like taking turns kind of thing. I don't. It never goes the way you think it's going to go because there's so many good quarterbacks in the AFC. It's so stacked. You can't say, "Oh, all right, Josh Allen, you lose this year, but you're going to win next year." Like it doesn't make sense.
But you're not going to get this three-peat story again. Nothing like this is happening for a long time.
855-212-4227 sort of got us talking about the Chiefs. We asked you on X, how do you put it, EJ? Do you like the Chiefs?
Do you hate the Chiefs?
Do you hate the Chiefs?
Simple,
to the point. Is it still dead heat, tied, 50-50, yes and no? Half the people love the Chiefs, half the people hate the Chiefs. But anyway, it got us talking about the most hateable teams of all time. And that was our great debate today. We do great debate every Wednesday around the 8 o'clock Eastern hour. And we all picked some pretty hateable teams, but I got to be honest, I think we left a few off of our list. Perloff, you went with Duke basketball. I went with the Brady Belichick Patriots. EJ went with the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat, the Heatles. Manny went with Kevin Durant joining the Golden State Warriors, the Durant Steph Curry Warriors. And Andrew Bogusch went with the Derek Jeter New York Yankees, like the first iteration of the dynasty.
He's a loser.
With Bernie Williams and with Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera. So we left off the 90s Cowboys, which we got a call about. Very, very much worthy of this.
How about them?
And Mike is in Arizona. He's got another good one that we left off the list. Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. Well, you guys just had to cover it before the break. My most hated team of all time would have been the Bad Boys of Detroit and Bill Laimbeer. But since you guys kind of asked each other about that, I picked another one.
What's that?
As a Browns fan, I couldn't stand the 86-87 Broncos, and most people in the AFC hated John Elway because of his last-second wins, which were always heartbreaking.
Yep.
And I didn't hear anybody mention that. And last but not least, can I ask a question about the Hall of Fame?
Sure, the Baseball Hall of Fame. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why isn't Omar Vizquel in there with 67 Gold Gloves, over 2,000 hits?
I love Omar Vizquel. I'm down with you, Mike. I'd vote for him.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what's up with that, but I would say my hated team would be the 86-87 Broncos with John Elway, which a lot of people, it was never so good to see him get thromped in his first 2 or 3 Super Bowls. So with that, I'll let you guys go.
Mike,
Thank you.
Covered a lot of ground there, so let's get to a little bit. First, Mike hit on something that's very crucial for a team to be most hated. They have to be successful. The person or people, and now John Elway eventually won Super Bowls, right? Went to a lot of them and lost, but you got to be good. This is basically a compliment that we're giving these teams. You got to be really good in order to be hated. You're mediocre, no one cares about you. The other part about Omar Vizquel. So I don't know if this is the reason why he's not in, but he did have some big domestic violence accusations against him. Now, is he the only guy in the Hall of Fame who's had accusations like this? Surely not. We know that people are flawed people and can be also great athletes, but I don't know if that played into it at all. Anyway, just wanted to answer his question there.
I watched The Drive on NFL Network the other day, the John Elway Browns drive, and it was nothing like I remember.
Really? What was different about it?
Well, so I knew it was a long drive. It started at the 2-yard line. I thought it was like a last-second drive. Do you know how long it took?
How long in real time?
5 minutes and 4 seconds of game time.
Yeah, that's a good drive.
Yeah, but it was like a bunch of like 6-yard passes. I thought it was like, and it was easy. Like it wasn't even that dramatic. Like they got a PI here, a hold here, a first down here. I thought it was like, yeah, that nowadays, if you have 11 seconds left in a game, you're like, oh, you left them too much time. It was a different NFL. You couldn't. Back then, I remember like, oh, there's 2:47 left. I don't know if they're gonna have time to get down the field. Now you get down the field in about 6 seconds. Back then, like the game was so different.
Well, of course, and guys weren't going for it on 4th down, so.
They were like chewing their way down the field. It was like, oh, here's a penalty. Oh, here's another. It's like it was a normal course of the. Actually, it wasn't as nearly as dramatic as I thought, and they easily scored. It wasn't even that hard. I thought the drive was. I don't know. I thought it was more last second.
This is funny. It's like some kind of Mythbusters. What was actually great.
But Manny, you've never heard of it. You've never watched the drive. Like, would you think the drive was like a last-minute drive?
It wasn't. Yeah, no.
There was like There was 6:15 left in the fourth quarter.
I for sure thought it was a 2-minute drive.
I feel like the way my dad explained it was like, it was snowing. There was 30 seconds on the clock. They had no timeouts. And John Elway, as a kid, I totally agree. I didn't know that.
15 plays.
I knew it was a lot of plays, but I thought it was like at least 2 minutes. Like the way it's described to children is totally different.
Let's pull up the play-by-play because we can do this now because we live in this era. Let's bring up the play-by-play of the drive. And you can give us all the 15 plays. Meanwhile,
you said it started at the 2, the drive?
Yeah, 98 yards.
What a punt.
Manny is the king of punts. Connor is in Ohio, wants to weigh in on the Chiefs and why it seems like public sentiment's kind of going towards Buffalo. I don't think that's just my Bills-colored glasses here, Connor.
No, I don't think so either. I'm extremely tired of seeing the Chiefs either in the Super Bowl or just like right on the cusp of it, and it's just, frankly, I'm a little I'm a little just tired of it. I feel
Why?
like I see them, and at this point, they're like you said, you guys said, they're not even dominant anymore. Like, I believe like most of their games are either like one-score games, or on a rare occasion, which against really, really bad teams, yeah, they beat them by like 3 scores, but like it's typically usually only a one-score game with the Chiefs. With the Texans, not the case, but either way, I mean, it was still close at halftime. So I feel like at this point, I mean, I think that Bills-Ravens game decided who was probably going to be the Super Bowl, the winner. So I think the Bills are probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Hopefully they can beat the Chiefs, which I think they can. I think Josh Allen will get it done. But I'm just tired of the Chiefs. I don't hate them, but I don't like them.
Yeah, Connor,
and that's big because I'm a 49ers fan. So,
gotcha. We got a whole other host of problems. Yeah, but I think the 49ers are going to rebound nicely next year. But so here's the part about this, right? First of all, to say that the winner of Bills-Ravens is going to be the Super Bowl winner, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah,
this is the kind of stuff that gives the Chiefs like second life.
Yeah, that was out there though. I mean, a lot of people were treating that game like it was the de facto AFC title game.
Yeah.
Just because, and not because it was like the Chiefs didn't even exist. Everyone forgot they were playing that weekend. It was all about the Bills-Ravens.
Right. So one thing that Connor brought up that I think is, I get his point. I think it's a little unfair. The margin of victory, that to me doesn't matter. The Patriots will only be remembered for winning 6 Super Bowls, and they won a lot of them by a field goal. So I don't think that really matters. You still have professionals on the other side. It's not college football.
Right, but I think that's why the Patriots were kind of boring. Like they're like
Super Bowls were never boring.
They were never boring, but the dynasty had a San Antonio Spurs vibe. Like they're basically like Bill Belichick's. Where am I going to get a small margin of advantage here? And that's what the Chiefs have transformed to the team that used to run all over the field to basically the Patriots, where they're going to. I mean, they won last year's Super Bowl. It was 19-19 at the end of regulation. Like that's. They're
Isn't that
definitely
just a credit to the rest of the league? Like that's how you win these games is the margins. Look at the Bills-Ravens game.
Yeah.
That game was decided because of a drop here, a fumble there. I mean, they're really tightly contested games.
Well, I think it's because they can't pay for the high octane offense guys, so they're like, well, we got to win conservative now, and I think the weather too is like. Because that Dolphins game probably freaked them out. Like they're like, we have to learn to play conservative football. So now they seem to be much more focused on defense and really like they'd rather win 19-13. And I mean, can you imagine telling that to 2019 Chiefs? They were electric.
855-212-4227. We're asking for the most hated teams of all time. I also have the last of my 3 commandments, if you will. No, the 3 criteria for anyone who wants to jump on the Bills bandwagon. You have to meet 3 different, agreements. So there's 3 different criteria that you must hit.
Yeah.
If you want to jump on the Bills bandwagon before this AFC Championship game. I'm going to give you the third one in just a moment, but Mike is in Syracuse, who's got a most hated team. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, you guys have all been hitting all around all these different sports, but you never even talk about hockey. And there was a team in the 70s from some horrible place in eastern Pennsylvania that was coined the Broad Street Bullies. And that featured like the penalty leaders every season and a collection of unlikable people, Bobby Clark especially.
Well, he wasn't even a bully. He was the one soft guy.
That's all right. It's guilt by association. That's how I feel about the entire city of Philadelphia.
I've seen the movie.
like
Slapshot, Mike. I've seen Slapshot, and the bad guys I think were from Syracuse. Like there are some bullies up there in hockey.
That's right, and it was filmed in Syracuse.
Yeah,
so.
Ogie Oglethorpe. Actually, no, they weren't from Syracuse. But yeah, does anyone here like goon hockey? Like I think that's something lovable about that.
No, there's not. Skill, expertise.
No. Give me Craig Berube.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think it's more like Gretzky that people love.
That's why you have knee injuries in basketball. It's karma, Perloff. Karma.
Oh, this is so Joel Embiid getting hurt is all big karmic middle finger
For
because the Broad Street Bullies?
Yeah. And, there's another one. Nobody has mentioned those cheating Astros yet, have they?
Interesting.
Oh, Jose
Interesting.
Altuve and the Alex Bregman Astros. You're right, Mike.
Yeah.
Great ones. Thank you so much for the call. They've had 90s Cowboys, bad boy Pistons. Those Astros, man. You know who hated the Astros almost more than fans? The players. I've never seen players come out that adamantly against other players, Perloff.
Yeah.
They were ticked off.
Yes.
It broke some really big code, which is funny because stealing signs, like everyone does that, but using the technology to steal the signs was like some invisible line that got crossed that really, really chapped people.
Also, the Astros are so arrogant and smug. Like I don't know if the players notice that, but the front office, like, we're smarter than all of you. Yeah, you're so smart. You hit a garbage can? Like, that's the most advanced technology you had for stealing signs? Meanwhile, everyone else in the league is using all sorts of fancy stuff. Like, the Astros were super hateable. I'm surprised no one's called in with that.
Good call by Mike. Okay, we have my third criteria if you want to jump on the Bills bandwagon. Let's revisit number 1, number 2. If you want to jump on the Bills bandwagon before the AFC Championship game, you must have lived in a cold weather place for one entire winter. We're counting that from October to May. Doesn't have to be Buffalo. It doesn't have to be that extreme. You just had to live in a cold place and understand and feel what it's like when it's cold and it's dark and it's lonely, Pearl. Number 2
Been
on
there.
the list. Yes, you would count for this one. Number 2, with the other teams that you root for, you must have experienced some kind of heartbreak. Bonus points if your heartbreak has a name, a nickname. The Drive, you just mentioned it, right? And you got to be on the losing side of one of these all-time awful moments because unscientific, the Bills have more horrible losses with nicknames than I think any other franchise alive.
It's funny, though, now that we go through this, there are a lot of nicknames out there.
Yeah, there are.
A lot of teams have nicknames. That one is not as hard as I thought to meet.
I'm telling you, there's a bar you've got to clear here. And then
that one's doable.
The third criteria, and I know this is going to be polarizing, but guys, this is just the way it has to be. And if you want to be a member of Bills Mafia, even if it's just for the AFC Championship game, you must pledge your undying allegiance to blue cheese dressing. No ranch, guys. No ranch. You want to be from the land of where the buffalo wings are flowing like champagne, then get out of here with ranch dressing. It's not the original. You got to go with blue cheese. Don't tell me it's icky and yucky and it smells like a foot. You will eat that foot, and you'll like it. So there you go. Lived in a cold weather place, experience heartbreak with another team, and you must pledge your allegiance to blue cheese dressing over ranch if you're eating buffalo wings.
And it's come down from the mountain. The rules are being set. That is a good one. I personally don't like ranch. I don't know. Do you like? I know a lot of ranch is out of style a little bit. Do you like ranch? I don't like the flavor of ranch.
Ranch is awful.
I think it doesn't taste like much. So it's a little flavorless to me.
It's got a little bit of a weird aftertaste. I'm not a huge ranch guy.
I don't discriminate when it comes to my dips, but I did learn the hard way that blue cheese is the way to go out in Buffalo.
It's a non-negotiable. And so if you can't get on board and you're going to be like, oh, it's chunky and it's weird, well, like it. All right? It's not supposed to be for everybody, and neither are Bills Mafia. So if you can't get on board with the blue cheese, well, then you might just want to pick up the Commanders or something else because you're not allowed here.
Maggie saying like it or else while staring at me. Look, I felt like I was like Lucas's brother or something.
You know what? EJ, to be honest, you wanted in on the Bills bandwagon. I said no because you root for the Jets, and that's just bad mojo that I don't need around this team. Right now, it's just too important. But you do fit this criteria. I didn't know about the blue cheese. I'm not sure about your taste.
Yeah, no, blue cheese, 1,000%. I can't stand ranch.
All right, so
I'm a huge wings guy.
You do have living in cold weather, check. Your other teams have experienced heartbreak.
Yes.
With a name.
Butt fumble.
Butt fumble. I mean, we could also go to the Carlos Beltran. I mean,
yep.
Strike three. You've got a couple things.
Yeah, plenty.
Pass interference against Miami. Give me a break.
Oh, yeah, for your college team as well. And if you like blue cheese, well, I guess you do satisfy all three of the criteria.
The Bills make me wanna.
I don't feel good about this, though.
Let's go.
I feel like you're going to Jets this up for me.
Oh, no. You need all the... This is like Dragon Ball Z when they gave all their spirits to Goku. You need all the spirits possible, Maggie. The Bills Mafia need everybody. Everyone raise your hands and give the Bills your spirits. We need to get the Chiefs out of here.
Man, how did I not come up with that Dragon Ball Z thing?
Because you have no idea what he's talking about. Yeah.
What a miss. Okay, so there you go. As Perloff said, I've come down from the mountain to deliver the 3 criteria if you want to jump on Bills Mafia. Coming up next, Ralph Russo will join us from the Associated Press. He covers college football. We'll get his take on all the fallout from Ohio State as your national champs. You will eat that foot.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie has issued 3 rules so far if you want to try to get onto the Buffalo Bills bandwagon.
Yeah, 3 criteria you must meet to be considered. Just to get the paperwork filed.
Oh, it's not even... Okay. Oh, how many are you going to end with? 4, right?
I think it's just going to be these 3. I kind of like these 3 the most. I had a 4th one also receiving votes, but I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So, number 1, you must have lived through at least one cold winter. Number 2, you must have experienced a heartbreaking loss with another team you root for. Bonus points if that game has a nickname. And number 3, you must pledge your undying allegiance to blue cheese dressing over ranch. Ty in Boise thinks he meets the criteria. Good morning, Ty.
How's it going, guys?
Doing great. What's up?
I definitely meet the criteria. First of all, I'm a diehard Raiders fan. AFC West. Hate the Chiefs. Can't stand them.
Okay.
I love blue cheese. It goes great with everything: salad, pizza, wings, burgers, fries, you name it. The tuck rule. Need I say more? And then it's 14 degrees right now in Boise, so I definitely meet the criteria. I've lived here for a majority of my life, and yeah, I don't think that I deserve not to be on the honorary Bills Mafia list.
Ty?
Bills make me wanna.
You're in, pal.
Awesome.
You're in, card-carrying member now, Bills Mafia. Not only did you meet the criteria, Ty, thank you for the call, you blew the criteria out of the water. It's currently 14 degrees where you live. You're a Raider fan and experience heartbreaks such as the tuck rule. Has a nickname. A little bonus that he's also roots against the Chiefs in the division. And not only loves blue cheese on wings, but also extended out to the other amazing food groups of pizza and burgers. That is elite. He did throw salad in there too. Yeah, sure. Okay. Throw a salad every now and then. Can't kill you.
Yeah, I like it. I think he's not alone. I think a lot of neutral fans are like, why not Buffalo?
There you go. Thank you, Ty. That was filling the criteria and then some. Let's turn to our pal, Ralph Russo, covers college football for The Athletic. Ralph, thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I'm sorry I can't join you face to face. I got it was a rough day getting home from Atlanta yesterday. So I am not in the shape of someone who should be on national television.
How about this? Next time you're stuck in the Atlanta airport, just send a flare up and we'll come and get you, and we'll get you out of there because we heard that getting out of that airport was insane. Let's go straight to the game. You were there covering the national championship game, and you've been covering Ohio State all season long, along with all the other teams. Okay, what did this accomplish for Ryan Day specifically? Do you think this national championship finally gets the Ohio State non-believers onto his side?
I think most of them listen. The Michigan game is such a part of the Ohio State culture. I think is maybe a way to put it. It's part of Ohio State's identity, Ohio State fandom identity, to an extent where if you don't win that game, there will always be a little bit of a hole in their hearts, right? But you just won a national championship, and the hardest way to win a national championship ever. Now, obviously, we're in the first year of this system, but Ohio State set the bar here pretty high. You know, I when they came up with this 12-team system, I kind of thought, well, the teams that get the byes are going to mostly dominate this thing. Not only did all the teams that got the byes lose in the quarterfinals, but Ohio State's path is Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. I mean, those are 4 of the top 8 to 10 teams in the country. You know, massive brands, and I guess you say, well, what's the difference of brand and a team? But, this is a sport where the brands are generally the best teams. So for them to go through that gauntlet, win each game by double digits, it's a remarkable achievement. And I would also say this, I think I've always felt like one of the ways you judge a coach is how does the team respond when things don't go well. And I think a lot of people thought after the Michigan game that was a team that could be in a little bit of disarray, that was a team that was going to have a hard time bouncing back. And for them to recalibrate, dust themselves off, I think that speaks to coaching. So, yeah, we'll see what happens next November, right after Thanksgiving. If he loses another one, I'm sure a bunch of Ohio State fans will be really upset. but a national championship buys you a lot of equity.
What about the criticism of Ohio State that it was just a $20 million roster that won it, and really the only reason I actually saw it. The only reason they lost to Michigan, the only reason Notre Dame got back in, because they didn't want to throw to Jeremiah Smith. Like, what would you say to that criticism?
Well, the $20 million roster, I would suggest, is probably not much different than a lot of other teams. Maybe $1 million here or two, but that's college football right now. And starting next year, if this antitrust lawsuit settlement goes through, everybody's going to be dedicating about $20 million to their athletes, about 75% of it to football. But again, the idea that Ohio State had a $20 million roster and everybody else was playing with, $8 to $10 million is ludicrous. We don't know the exact numbers on everybody, but I think it's fairly safe to say that it wasn't crazy out of line. And yeah, listen, you can still. I'm sure Bill Belichick coached bad games, right? I'm sure there were points throughout his career where even the best coaches, even Nick Saban, I can remember a game where he got pretty well out-coached in the Iron Bowl against Gus Malzahn. So, yes, I think they coached a poor game against Michigan. I would say this, too. It almost felt to me that the last play that essentially clinched the game, the deep ball to Jeremiah Smith, and I wrote this in my story Monday night, it feels like forever ago, was something to the extent of that play call seemed like it was a direct response to the critics. Right? He even said, listen, this is a chance for us to get aggressive. The national championship's only on the line. How many times in your life do you get a chance to win for a national championship? And I think that play call by Chip Kelly, endorsed by Ryan Day, was to a certain degree a direct response to that type of criticism that occasionally they get too tight in the big games.
Ralph Russo is joining us, senior writer for The Athletic, covering college football. Ralph, Perloff and I kind of don't agree on one thing about the future of college football. Not to put words in your mouth, Perloff, but I think you kind of believe that the idea of dynasties are over, or the blue blood teams making it and winning titles year after year is going to go by the wayside because any team now can sort of buy their way to a title. I looked at this, I thought, I only saw blue bloods advancing. I only saw the cream of the crop. I'm curious where you go, Ralph. Do you think we're getting more parity where, the SMU can win a title just as easily as Georgia? Or do you think we're still going to have, the Ohio States and the Alabamas, Georgias, Texas, whatever, of the world still winning titles?
I lean towards the latter there. I do think that this sport is, it's harder to expand the field in this sport of who the best are. Because I do think even in a world where money now plays a huge part in distribution of talent, it's the blue bloods that generally have the most money, right? They're already starting at a certain advantage. Where I see the parity is we just got out of an era where it was basically Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, and Ohio State. Now, Ohio State, Michigan last year wins. Ohio State now wins. I think where the parity comes from is maybe the field of national title contenders. For several years, it felt like the real contenders were about 2 to 4 teams. maybe now year to year that goes from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. And the history of college football, generally speaking, that would be pretty big difference. If you can get 10 teams in a year that enter the season with you think of, oh, this team I think has a chance to win a national title, even if you get to 8, I think that's a significant difference when you consider the history of the sport. So I do think the world is flattening. I do think there's more parity, but I just don't think of it as like NFL type parity. Think of it as parity compared to where we have been traditionally in college football.
All right, Ralph, talking about contenders for next year. Tell us who's a couple questions. Will Quinn Ewers be back in college football next year, or is he staying in the pros? And who's the quarterback for Ohio State, and who is the quarterback for Alabama?
So I think Ewers is going. I think that's a guy. There was a lot of rumors around him. I know some Oregon stuff and some money figures were thrown around that I'm not really sure were true. I know there was some chatter about him and Notre Dame. I kind of get the suspicion that Ewers is just like, hey, I've kind of done my time here. I've made my money. Remember, this was a guy who was at the front end of some big NIL deals, not in the way we think of them as far as basically like replacement of salary, but he had some big sponsorship deals coming out of high school. So I think that's a guy who probably just sees himself as thinking like the best next step for me is to develop in the pros. So yeah, I think, things change, but I suspect that Quinn Ewers will be in the NFL next year. The next quarterback for Ohio State, I'm pretty sure, is going to be Julian Sayin, a 5-star recruit who transferred from Alabama, but never actually really even, I don't know if he ever put on an Alabama uniform. He transferred after Saban left. He was a freshman who signed in December and transferred in January of last year. I think they like him a lot, and I think it was notable that Ohio State wasn't active in the portal because I think they have their next star quarterback. Alabama is a good one. That's been a topic of conversation the last few days, hanging out with my colleagues in Atlanta. I think Ty Simpson would probably be the leader there. I think when we talk about could Quinn Ewers possibly change his mind, that would seem to be a place where you'd think that they would pay big bucks for a transfer quarterback. There's a kid named Austin Mack who transferred to Alabama with when DeBoer left Washington. He was a Washington signee. I know that there's some idea that maybe they like him, but the Alabama one is a tricky one. I am not exactly sure where that one is going, but I think Ty Simpson and Austin Mack are the names to keep in mind on that roster.
Ralph, last one for you, and thanks for doing this. We know this has been a super busy time. You're traveling like crazy. How's Belichick doing at North Carolina?
Well, he signed a bunch of quarterbacks, and he's going out and doing the things that college coaches do, right? He's visiting high schools and having home visits. It looks like he's staying. I know there's been a bunch of rumors that have been fairly persistent. We'll see if how great a difference this is going to make. It's a fascinating deal to see what a Bill Belichick college football program looks like. But I would say as of right now, what you want is it to look semi-normal. And right now, he looks like a college football coach. He's doing the things that college football coaches do, and I think that's important.
Any of the quarterbacks that he's got, are they any good?
So there's a kid named Baker, I believe it's Bryce Baker, who had already been committed, and he held that commitment. Excuse me. And he held that commitment. He has a chance to, from what I've heard, to be a pretty big deal. He's a North Carolina guy, if I remember. He has ties to North Carolina. So, keeping him in the boat maybe wasn't the toughest thing. But the idea from everything that I hear from people who cover recruiting in high school is that that's a guy who could be, sort of a Drake May type player who becomes a big time NFL prospect. That could be a game changing type player. But, listen, North Carolina was a 6-7 team this year. They still got a lot of building to do.
Ralph Russo covers college football for The Athletic, a senior reporter for The Athletic. Ralph, thanks so much for the time. Great job. Another great season in the books. Really appreciate it.
Always appreciate your time. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you, Ralph Russo. Check him out in The Athletic. Does a fantastic job. And I know college football never ends, but
Wait, they have the next Drake May in North Carolina? That seems rich.
Why not?
I don't know. I think like we would all know if Drake May was on Bill Belichick's roster.
Well, we got to see. He hasn't played yet.
Yeah, I mean, just can't see Bill Belichick having an 18-year-old quarterback. I don't know how old this kid is. Just like this is gonna be such an experiment to see Bill Belichick coach a bunch of knucklehead 19-year-olds.
Do you remember draft night when Belichick wasn't that sold on Drake May? That was kind of funny.
He was crushing it.
He kind of did. 855-212-4227. All right, got a couple things out there for you. Number one, our great debate today. What is the most hated team in professional sports? I feel like Ohio State, Kansas City Chiefs, teams getting backlash lately. That's the inspiration for this question. And also, do you find that you are turning away from the Chiefs? You rooting for Buffalo to take them out, or do you want to see them try to go for history and the three-peat? 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. A lot going on today. Asking you about the Chiefs and whether or not you're sick of watching them, or are you trying to see history and see if they can go for the three-peat? Feels like there's a little backlash to Chiefs Kingdom.
Which happens with all winners, to be fair. But I personally think all the camera flashes to Taylor Swift ain't helping.
Maybe it's like expediting.
Nobody likes the people who are on top. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know. You're a Bills fan, as you've explained.
Yeah, I just walked right into that one. Let's get to Bogusch. He's got the headlines for today. Go, Bogusch.
Maggie, can you join your Bills bandwagon if you used to date Travis Kelce and now you're all about spite?
I saw the story that you're talking about, and I was like, this is not helping things.
Wait. I have no idea what the story is. I'm like, wait, did Maggie date Travis Kelce before her husband?
Bogusch,
She's a Jason gal anyway.
I don't think you needed, I don't think you needed that much of a setup, but yeah, I don't want to confuse people.
I got to be honest, like, Maggie was single back in the day and at SI and maybe a swimsuit party, and Travis was always around.
I definitely wasn't single at SI. So I hope I wasn't giving off that impression.
I just acted that way.
You could have met Travis Kelce before you were married.
I was definitely not married, but I wasn't single. I was in like a committed relationship.
Somebody seems unusually defensive about this question.
Yeah, I am, I guess. I'm like, wait a minute, was I acting single? No way.
No, I'm just saying, like, you dated Travis Kelce. That's obvious. Like, let's move on. Just admit it.
Not dating, just a weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Barely counts.
Well, didn't he have like a dating show? You guys didn't see me in the casting
Travis
call?
Kelce dated everybody, so this is not a great claim to fame.
Anyway, so I saw the story you're talking about, and I didn't love this as a Bills fan.
Yeah, so this is before Taylor Swift, there was Kayla Nicole Brown, and she's on the I Am Athlete podcast, and she wants the Bills to win Sunday because Casey's won enough.
Okay, why is she on the I Am Athlete? Like, is she an athlete?
I think she's regularly on there.
Oh, okay. She's a broadcaster.
I don't know her background. I just know her. I've only seen stories about her talking about Travis post their relationship. But I think she's a regular on that show.
I thought she was a model. Wait, you're talking about the same woman, right? The black woman?
Yeah, I don't think she's a broadcaster, but but she wasn't just there yesterday for the first time.
Oh, got it. Okay. This is the reason why I don't like this, and she can't join the bandwagon, because I've laid out 3 criteria this morning for anyone who wants to jump on the Bills bandwagon, and I'll tell you about them in 1 second. But she can't jump on there, and here's why. There's already enough accusations, and I don't think they're necessarily wrong, that the Chiefs live rent-free in the Bills fans' heads. I don't know about the players. I hope not the players. But for the fans, definitely. There's a major boogeyman aspect, and we, the Bills Mafia, live this with Belichick and Brady, and now living it with the Chiefs. And so, haters. Yes. Yeah. So for her to say, like, she's clearly still bitter about how things ended with Travis Kelce, we can't have that energy. You get what I'm saying?
I'll tell you one thing. She can come to that Eagles bandwagon in 2 seconds. I'm just Google image. She's welcome aboard. Have you met Bradley Cooper?
Bro, like saluting
you guys
her in the
should
parking
reproduce.
The reason why I don't think she should be allowed in for separate reasons. Because she is anti-splitting 50-50. And she alluded to this being perhaps one of the reasons why they broke up.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. She's pro. And she doesn't. She thinks that she's pro 50-50.
Yeah.
Like she was upset because Travis was like, no, 50-50. That's what I'm saying. Travis was suggesting maybe she should pay for some things.
They would split some things.
And she was like, what do I look like?
I think he trying to charge her rent. I don't know if it was that.
What?
I don't remember if it was rent, but it was something. He wanted
college, is a room and
he
board.
He wanted her to start spending some more money, and she felt like she should not spend anything. And I think that Bills Mafia we need hard hat people.
Did Travis like label the milk? This is Travis's in the refrigerator.
She had a whole deal by it.
Itemized list here?
I don't think it was just a couple dinners though. Like I don't think he was like, oh, let's go Dutch on this this date. I thought it was
50-50 on bills.
Yeah, bills, right.
Right.
So
but
probably and also rent. I mean, it was probably a mortgage for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ironically, Taylor does not need help with the rent.
Right. So it was like, I don't know. I feel like she kind of lost out on that. Like he just found someone that will go 50-50 or even do more. So like what
75-25.
What was the point? Now you lost one of the biggest stars in sports.
Yeah, you probably should have just paid that utility bill. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, pay the light bill.
They broke up over the electric bill?
Cameron and Mace did like a 10-minute breakdown of this clip. I've seen it too often.
I've
It went
seen
viral.
I've seen it too. That she didn't feel like she should have paid for anything.
She said, look at me. Why should I have to pay for anything?
Still a little confused how this all leads to the Bills bandwagon or not.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the 3 criteria, if you want to jump on the Bills bandwagon quickly, you must have lived through at least one cold winter. You must have experienced a heartbreaking loss with another team you root for, and bonus points if that game or moment has a nickname. And you must pledge your undying allegiance to blue cheese over ranch dressing. The
Bills make me wanna.
I'm back to you.
No, I'm out. Blue cheese. No thanks.
Oh, you're not going to make the cut.
Before we leave this topic, though, there's also Ravens defensive back Marlon Humphrey tweeting, quote, I have no reason of saying this other than to be a hater. The Bills or whatever NFC team gotta beat the Chiefs. We can't let them keep getting away with this.
Haterade is what you guys are drinking. It's like they're robbing a bank or something.
Yeah.
They're just a good football team.
The Patriots are reportedly hiring Josh McDaniels to be their offensive coordinator again, and Khalil Mack has reportedly decided to continue his career. The 33-year-old took some time to think things over after the Chargers' wildcard loss. He'll be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. The Sixers took a 144-109 thumping in Denver last night. Their losing streak is 7. At some point, the Eagles' season will be over, so Pearl needs something. Maybe that's the Flyers.
Farabee's got Tippett driving the net. Farabee to Tippett, and Tippett, he scores! It's in. The Flyers win it in overtime. It might be Farabee who pushes it finally over the line, but in OT, the Flyers beat the Red Wings.
That's Tim Saunders on Flyers Radio. As we all know by now, Rasmus Ristolainen credited with that game-winning goal, 2-1 over Detroit. The Flyers just 2 points away from a wild card spot, but they've got 3 other teams in the way, including the Rangers, who blanked Ottawa last night 5-0.
Hockey.
Manny Pucks.
Yeah, loud noises for the Rangers. Igor Shesterkin, a shutout, eh?
Hey.
What's that guy's name? Rasmus, what's his last name?
Ristolainen.
Cool name.
Former Buffalo Sabre.
Yeah, he was.
Ristolainen.
I'm clearly going to need a new NBA team if the Sixers are out of it.
Correct. No, they all are out of it.
Now, I have to be honest, my interest was piqued by an NBA headline earlier. Where's Sidney Sweeney hanging out? Because I might want to go with that fan base.
Nets games.
Okay. Is there any other options?
Next.
I can offer you Ben Stiller and Spike Lee.
Can you find out where Travis Kelce's ex? Maybe she's got a basketball team you can glob on.
No, guys, I'm a lifelong Timberwolves fan. How are we doing there? Are they good?
How's Googs playing this year?
Yeah. I was actually, you read that headline. I'm like, whoa, Sixers got into the hundreds against the Nuggets. Not bad.
By the
We're
way,
looking good. Like, you can't hurt me with the Sixers.
you visibly kvetched when
Josh McDaniels. To the
I don't think you
Patriots.
kvetched. You
dry
shuttered.
heated.
I don't know. You did something.
Does it? Yeah.
This is gonna work.
This is like a retread amongst a retread at the coordinator level. This feels like, oh, God.
There's no such thing as a retread at the coordinator level.
I know. And now this Josh McDaniels coming back to the Patriots. How many times has he come back?
I think this is 3. Do you remember when they said that Belichick was going to open up his world to Josh McDaniels? And then he was like, get me a panini. That was the world.
Yeah, it just feels like the same old ideas.
Yeah, but this is going to work for Drake May. Josh McDaniels is fine if he's just calling offense. He's just a terrible head coach.
I just think that you say that, but I wonder if Vrabel is going to gut that offense a little bit. Try and win 19-13.
They might win a lot of games 19-13. It's possible.
Possible.
Thank you, DJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, Ralph Russo, the Weedos and the Coffee Drinkers, callers. You guys have been spectacular. Let's keep it up. Big show tomorrow. Oh, we have a photo shoot after the show today, don't we? All right. We're going to change into our fun clothes. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Make me wanna